Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't read magazine. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been popularized.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. I think it's time to speak. Again, we still got those audio problems, and it seems like actually the whole network's off by about a minute tonight. Chris Geo, are you out there? We need some maintenance. Anyhow, want to do mostly callers tonight. Call in with what's on your mind, Gematria, anything else, New Year's resolutions that you're going to stick to. Again, some people just wait for the new year to start their resolution and then quit before you're a week into the year. If you want to change something about your life, don't wait till the new year. Just do it today and stick with it because you know it's the right thing to do. Anyhow, the big news story tonight and also last night is that the Colorado Supreme Court knocked Trump off the ballot. And of course, he's supposed to run against number 46, Joe Biden. So would you believe that they knocked him off the ballot exactly 46 weeks before the selection, November 5th, 2024? And of course, 46 weeks is 322 days, the infamous number with skull and bones. It's a reminder the founder of the Illuminati died on the 322nd day of the year. And Skull and Bones is modeled after the Bavarian Illuminati, RIP to Henry Kissinger from Bavaria. But with regards to Bavarian Illuminati, don't forget it has that gematria of 188, and that ruling yesterday also came 188 days after Trump's birthday. And with regards to 46, the big story on Sunday, which was the Pope's birthday, was that number 46, his motorcade was crashed into by a 46-year-old. And it's a reminder that the election that Biden supposedly won was exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, something we talked about a year before it happened, because in Gematria, Catholic equals 46, and it seemed like a perfect setup for Joe Biden to become number 46, where the President's Day was set on the 46th day of the year that year. How convenient. And the other thing about his motorcade being crashed into on December 17th was it was on the eve of the anniversary of his wife and daughter being killed in a car accident way back in 1972, right after he became senator-elect. And funny enough, in Gematria, car accident equals 72, like President Biden, like Jesuit order, like how Pope Francis became the first Jesuit pope on the 72nd day of the year, March 13th, 2013. For the record, again, just a Gematria lesson in case you're tuning in for the first time, you never heard of this Gematria thing. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. It comes from Kabbalah. In English, there's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. I want you to see how perfect Colorado is with the election in all 4 ciphers, the exact same in all 4. With the alphabetic order, both Colorado and election equate to 83. With the alphabetic order and numerology, Colorado and election equate to 38. With the reverse alphabetic order, Colorado and election both equal 133, which is interesting because so does president, so does White House, so does government. You might recall once upon a time, way back in 2015 at the first GOP debate. Fox News put up that status. Donald Trump went to speak for the first time, and it said Donald Trump's the 133rd richest man in the world, according to Forbes. And we did a video that day way back in 2015, and we said, did they just tell us that Donald Trump is the next president? And sure enough, they had. But the only cipher left, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology, election in Colorado, both have that gematria 43. And interestingly enough, Yale equals 43, where Skull and Bones is order 322. Again, Colorado's ruling was on a Tuesday, an election day, 322 days before the election, 46 weeks. Order 322, Skull and Bones, their nickname is also the Brotherhood of Death. And Brotherhood of Death has that gematria of 83, like election in Colorado. And the word death alone is 38, like election in Colorado. And like how DC's on the 38th parallel, and how that might very well be part of the recipe for what comes out of the next election, or possibly even during the election campaign cycle, because the next election is the 60th election. Again, in 1860, Lincoln was elected, and that led to an assassination. In 1960, Kennedy was elected, and that led to an assassination. And we've already seen some deaths in connection to 60 for this election. Let me take you back to July 14th, 2022. That was the day that we got 3 news stories, and the third one was the fateful one. But to jog your memory, you can go back and look at the headlines from July 14th, 2022. They went in this order. The first story was Trump hinted that he would run for the next election, which was the 60th. Then later that day, it came out conservatives against Trump based on 60 legal cases for why they didn't think he was fit to run in the next election. 60 cases. And then the third story that day was his ex-wife fell down the stairs and died. And of course, that was 45 years after their marriage. But the 60 piece of that was the Jesuit Ignatian year. The first ever Jesuit Ignatian year went from May 20th, 2021 to July 31st, 2022. So July 14th was at the tail end of that. And it was exactly 60 weeks into the Jesuit Ignatian year that all those stories hit, including the death of Trump's ex-wife. And Donald Trump in gematria equals 60. And he's Jesuit educated. Of course, he went to Fordham. That's why he was with the Jesuit Pope right after he got elected in 2017, after he made a pit stop in Israel for Jerusalem Day. Reminding you who really runs this nation. But, yeah, you know, Donald Trump's wife, that wasn't an accident. She didn't fall down the stairs. That was a ritual sacrifice, just like how Biden offed his whole family for his political career. And that includes his wife, daughter, son, Beau Biden at age 46, and mother and father. And with regards to all those 72s, again, one more time, President Biden equals 72, President Trump equals 72, Jesuit order equals 72, car accident equals 72. Biden's father even died 72 days from his birthday. But again, you learn this little gematria thing. You learn the cabal's best kept secret. Well, it hasn't been the best kept secret for the last decade if you've been following me, but still the majority of the world has no idea about this. And I don't know, seemingly people are just blind to the number rituals. I see a million videos on YouTube. Some of them, you know, 1 million+ views, 500,000 views, several 100,000 views. And everyone just seems to kind of mention that a 46-year-old crashed into him, like, without even blinking an eye. Like, that doesn't sound weird to him. And it's amazing to me that, you know, Beau Biden dies at 46. People just think it's a coincidence. But that's the spell we're trying to break around here. And anyhow, I'm going to keep my opening short and sweet tonight. I suppose if I was going to talk about one more thing, RIP to Ed Buddy of the NFL, former Kansas City Chief who played in the first ever Super Bowl, which was in the 47th NFL season. He was dead yesterday in the headlines, 47 days after his birthday, and dead at age 83. Of course, football equals 83, like murder's 83, like the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. And then for one more about Ed Buddy, he's from Detroit, Michigan. I call that the 83 city because Detroit, Michigan equals 83 in gematria, and it's on the 83rd meridian. And with regards to him playing for Kansas City and being from Detroit, might remind you of how this NFL season began with Detroit upsetting Kansas City. So R.I.P. to Ed Buddy. And again, from the Oval Office to the gridiron to your favorite newscasters, when they bite the dust in suspicious ways, you just pull out the old gematria code, and it won't take too long to see what really happened. So, oh, I guess one other thing I can bring up is Sandra Day O'Connor's funeral. I did put out a video on this yesterday, but for people who don't follow my YouTube channel, only check me out on Wednesday nights when we're on TFR. We talked about how Sandra Day O'Connor died at age 93 on Aleister Crowley's death anniversary, the man, the occultist, who worshipped the number 93 with his religion, Thelema. So they saved her funeral. She died December 1st. They saved the funeral for yesterday, December 19th, which was during the time of Saturnalia. Remember, Saturn is the very important planet to the occult, connected to death and judgment and justice. She was a judge. But Saturn has the gematria of 93. So she died in a 93 ritual, and then they saved the funeral for over 2 weeks to have it in the time of Saturnalia. And again, it should remind you what's really going on in the nation's capital. It is the land of the occultists. Masonry studies the occult, the hidden, and no doubt a Masonic ritual as well with Sandra Day O'Connor's death yesterday, because they chose the day in Saturnalia that had the 74 numerology. And as we talked about so many times, Masonic, killing, occult, energy, gematria, English, holiday, and the list goes on, all have a numerical value of 74, all of those words. Just like George Washington the Mason. George Washington has the gematria 74, just like Holy Roman Empire, and just like the word Roman alone. And Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival that's still very relevant to the Jesuits. That's why year in and year out, there's these types of stories that we're documenting in the time of Saturnalia. Okay, now I am going to zip my lips. And again, you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And the first caller up is Oregon. 458, you're on.
What is 47, Zach?
What is 47? Is this the gentleman I owe a book to?
Yeah.
I apologize. I will not make the same mistakes, Tice. All right. I just took the screenshot of your phone number. I will not delete it tonight. I will call you tomorrow, and we'll get this thing situated. Thank you for calling back. How you doing tonight?
I'm holding up despite this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's on your mind?
Well, speaking of how foobar this world is, have you looked up that word?
Foobar? Effed up beyond all recognition?
Exactly.
That's one of my favorite.
And
actually, I used to use that term a lot, but go ahead.
And snafu?
That one I don't know.
Situation normal. All.
Okay.
Effed up.
I see.
It goes along with another word. Uranus.
Yeah. Okay.
It was in the news. It was in the news 2 days ago. The James Webb telescope that they just put up got a brand new image of Uranus.
Oh yeah, sure did.
And you need to look at all the headlines that go with that announcement. They just put it right in your face. Uranus.
Huh. Okay.
All the different rings. When you look up the headlines for that image, it'll just blow your mind of all the different headlines that they cooked up to go with that image.
Okay. I see.
Typical NASA made up headlines.
Sure.
It's right in your face how they really think of us as your word goy.
Yeah. Yeah.
These people are beyond despicable. People need to understand that. Have you ever heard of the Treaty of 1783?
The Treaty of 1873. That's another one I don't know about.
No, 1783.
1783. Getting dyslexic. I don't know that one either.
Okay, 1783. It was cooked up. It is the treaty that officially ended our Revolutionary War.
I see.
People ought to know this treaty. It actually is the treaty that ended the Revolutionary War, per the history books. It's very important. People just don't know these things. But in 1783,
Just so I didn't use that terminology, but yes, the date does now stand out. And again, just to remind people about the significance of that date, the year 83. So the murdering can stop in 83, and then the date 9/3, Saturn connected to death. So judgment that they end the war on 9/3 in the year 83. Go ahead, friend.
it's really important about these things that they don't teach you in these 13 years of government ignorance imposition.
Sure. To remind people, the Revolutionary War began on April 19th, which is the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general. So you know the Jesuit influence was there with the war that supposedly we got free from the UK.
From King George.
Right.
Now, King George was an interesting character in his own right. He had already turned over his nation to the Vatican. You'll see it in their flags, in the three city-state flags. You've got the city-state of the Vatican, the city-state of the City of London, and the District of Columbia, right? You're familiar with those, right?
Right. And Washington's flag has the 3 stars on it that represent the 3 independent city-states.
Exactly. You're right on it. Now follow me here. In that Treaty of 1783, that we supposedly won the war and won our independence, when you actually look at the text and who signed the Treaty of 1783, you will find out that we actually are considered losers by the text of that document. We didn't actually gain anything but paper. It's really world.blogspot.com.
Hold on. Can you rewind about 15 seconds there? You cut out. He said after you said we got nothing but paper, you cut out.
Okay, well, you need to look into the history of the United States by looking at there's a history major that put together a website called Making the World Safe for Hypocrisy. Oh shit, I have an incoming call. How does that work? Are you still there?
Yeah. Making the World Safe for Hypocrisy. Is that a book? I see a book for sale.
Blogspot.com. It's a website.
Okay.
Blogspot.com. It goes back to history, back to 1620, all the way through 1952. And what we were taught in these 13 years is just mind-blowing lies. The scale of the mind-blowing lies is from here to the James Webb Telescope Uranus.
Yeah. The jokes never end. Monumental lies.
Speaking of historical documents, as a native of Oregon, have you ever seen the original as written Oregon Bill of Rights?
I've never looked at that.
1858, 1857, 1858, there were convention bringing forth our great state of Oregon. And I have a great-great-grandfather that was in that committee. He was a Freemason out of Goliath.
I think his call might be cutting out here. Shoot. Yeah, his call just dropped all the way. If you can still hear me, Oregon, if you're still on the line listening, feel free to call back in. Oh, he just got back on right now. You're back on, Oregon.
Oh, hello. Thank you for bringing me back.
No problem.
Did you catch my grandfather, great-great-grandfather was part of the committee?
That's what you said, and then you dropped.
Okay, well, he was part of the committee that drafted the state constitution and the state Bill of Rights. And when you look at the state Bill of Rights, including free speech and freedom of assembly, you'll notice one thing missing. That's the freedom. You have to go down and down and down, and then scratched into the very last spot, number 19 on the Bill of Rights for the state of Oregon as drafted, was to keep and bear arms. Instead of the Second Amendment, it was the 19th. That is significant in my opinion. I had to go to the state archives to get that document, Jack.
Huh. On here, on the online version, it's showing that in Oregon's Bill of Rights, the right to bear arms is the 27th bullet point.
Well, as written, it was 19th, and then they added a bunch more to make it 27th.
I see. I see.
You know how they're always screwing up history, rewriting it, revising it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I said, my great-great-grandfather was in that committee. And when you know that there's a town called Rome in Southeast Oregon, right?
I'm not sure if I was aware there's a Rome, Oregon, but there are a number of places named Rome in this country.
There is Rome, Oregon. It's down in Malheur County. Malheur meaning bad air.
Interesting.
Well, Rome and Oregon go together very well. OR being 33, and Egon. Egon is a word all by itself, Jack. It means the edge of the sword. And which sword would they be talking about? The Holy Roman Empire.
Sure. Yeah.
So, the edge of the sword of the Holy Roman Empire with Rome in the bad air. It's a bad joke,
Yeah.
but
Funny.
the joke's on it.
Funny. I just realized I just realized in this image here of making the world safe for hypocrisy, there's actually I hope Google. I just noticed this on the screen. There's a little bit of nudity on there. I hope they're not taking down the stream later for that. Oh boy. All right.
Well, there's great information there. I just wanted to pass that along and highlight Uranus because that's what NASA us to do.
Right. Yeah. Well, great call as always, friend. I always appreciate all the information and history you know, and I'll definitely be in touch with you tomorrow. Is there a good time to call you?
Sometime between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Okay, mostly all day. All right, I'll give you a call in the morning.
Well, thanks, Jack.
All right.
You have a great night out there.
You too. Good to hear from you, friend. Take care.
Bye.
All right. We got a commercial break coming up here. When we get back from the break, we got George on hold, Michigan, Ohio, New York, Florida, And that's it. So if you want to call in, the line's not too long. Again, 213-233-3998. It is a call board, so it's first come, first serve. You call in, you get your place in line. That's the nice thing about TFR Wednesdays is we get to use the call board. And when you do call into the call board, you can just listen to the show through the phone. So the break is supposed to start just about any second here. And again, quick breaks. They're about every 30 minutes. And it's just part of the TFR platform if you're watching us on YouTube. Again, check out the TFR website if you've never been there. Truth streaming all day, TFRlive.com. And I think if you're listening through the show, you hear the audio and the music as you're supposed to in the breaks, which we're supposed to hear right now. But again, we're having glitches through the application that the hosts have to connect to the show with. So we are on break, even though we can't hear anything right now.
The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change. Stoke taught me the major problem is lack of an idea, not a problem. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Shope, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. Right? I was confused. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. It isn't lack of money, it's lack of ideas. So if you get the ideas, see, you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Shope also said, when you find out something that works, put the information in your journal. Don't use your head for a filing cabinet. Put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. And if you repeat it, go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your dress, and your personality, and your lifestyle. But
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ialife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ialife.com, AYA life.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are your protection from deception.
Okay, I'm going to assume the sound has stopped, even though I didn't hear any sound at all. And going to get out to the callers again, 213-233-3998 if you want to phone in. George is up. What's going on, George? George? Hello, George. Okay. Well.
Hello, Zach.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. How you doing, George?
Okay. I'm sorry. This happened a couple weeks ago. No, I was not asleep. For some reason, I must have unwittingly muted myself. Okay. So a couple of things. This will probably be the last time I talk to you this year because I won't be available next week, and I'm sure you're fighting back the tears. Couple of things. I realized this happened a while ago, and I meant to talk about this last week, but I wasn't able to get on. Couple of things. So, did you talk about the death of Norman Lear?
I didn't. I honestly didn't see a whole lot in his death because I wasn't that familiar with him or the shows. The Jeffersons is a 201, but did you have anything about his death?
Well, yes. Well, it's funny. You had recently two prominent Jewish people with a Jewish background, Henry Kissinger, who made it past the century mark, and they died right around like a week or so apart.
Right.
And that's interesting. And now Lear was Jewish, but last year he converted to Catholicism. As a matter of fact, back in 2016, I believe on May the 12th, he actually spoke at Loyola Marymount, Los Angeles, and he talked about his history in Hollywood as a producer, things like that. I believe his death date was December the 5th. I don't his what was it, the 27th of July, 1922. I'm going from memory here. I'm sure you can go check that.
Okay.
And I know you spoke about Frank Vitek, who was a tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Did you mention the fact that he went to Archbishop Ryan High School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Yes, Catholic educated, dead at 52, just before the Pope's birthday. Yeah.
Okay, and you also, I know you discussed Andre Braugher, the black actor who was in Glory, The Mist, a few other things. He's probably better known as a television actor. And did you bring up the fact that he went to St. Ignatius Prep School in Chicago?
Jesuit educated like Denzel Washington, who's also in Glory, and Andre Braugher was also in Class of 61 about the Civil War, going with his age of death at age 61, and that was trending news at the time that they unveiled the latest Civil War movie, which they debuted that trailer 201 days after Alex Garland's birthday, who's the director of the film, and that was trending at the same time that Obama's new movie's trending, which has the Commodus tribute at the end, and Commodus is connected to the Civil War of Rome. But yeah.
Okay, so you covered most of this material. So I just want to have a suggestion. I realize you're busy as all get up, but are you familiar with the Dirty Harry franchise with Clint Eastwood?
I'm aware of the character, but I've actually never seen the Dirty Harry movie.
Well, if you have some time, I'm not telling you how to do your job or anything like that, Zach. You might want to check them out. Particularly, there are 5 in the series. The first one was the 1971, the eponymous Dirty Harry. And why do I bring that up? Well, I was totally oblivious to this story, like most people. But you might be interested in all the predictive programming they have, not only that film, but the sequels.
Okay.
Case in point, in the aforementioned Dirty Harry film from 1971, I don't recall the release date. The bad guy, the antagonist, Scorpio, played by Andrew Robinson, hijacks a school bus. And he takes a bunch of school children hostage, and he demands to be taken to a local airport, which actually happens to be up the street from where I live. I mean, like maybe 10 miles from where I live. And then Well, sure enough, 5 years later, that actually happened. A group of young men actually hijacked a school bus and took a bunch of children hostage.
I see. Yeah.
And so, anyhow, that happened in Chowchilla, California on July the 15th, 1976. Now, if you've ever heard of Chowchilla, you're not alone. Most people can't. It literally is the middle of nowhere. It's in Central California. So just as a heads up, if you're interested, and you could say is also Dirty Harry was a commentary on the oral Warren courts. But that's another conversation altogether.
Okay.
And so you could say that Dirty Harry was a flesh and blood RoboCop.
Sure.
So anyhow, you have other calls to get to, and I guess I'll talk to you after the New Year's.
All right. Well, have a good New Year then, George. Take care. Thank you.
You do.
All right. Have a good night. Predictive programming, over 50 years in Hollywood and running. It's amazing how many people still do. If you went up to a normal person and said, you know what predictive programming is? They'd be like, what's that? It's like, how can you not know that in 2023? Let's go out to 810. 810, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how you doing, bud?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. So, yeah, that dude, Oregon, he sparked my memory. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and all other genders are from Uranus.
Right.
So I think he was talking about the Treaty of Paris.
Yeah, that's the other name. That's the name I'm more familiar with, right? It's the same thing pretty much.
Yeah. And that treaty actually made King George the Prince of the United States, and it also granted him control of all commerce in America. So I haven't actually read that treaty, but I've heard a lot about it, and I do follow this historian named Michael Gaddy, Gaddy. He has a michaelgaddy.substack.com. He's got 15,000 original source documents, meaning the letters that the alleged founding fathers, these men that were at the Constitutional Convention, and they were supposed to write, they were supposed to amend the Articles of Confederation, and they had no authority to do what they did, and they actually overthrew the government. They overthrew the standing government of the colonies that were, underneath the Articles of Confederation. They discarded the articles and wrote that Constitution, and then changed it after everybody signed it, and it made them. They were monarchs. They wanted to be king, and they were the Federalists. Anyway, some really great information. This guy Michael Gaddy, he's got a few radio platforms, and the Substack. I don't have it. I can't see it, but he's got a free side and a pay side, and it might be worthwhile to check that out and see what you might find as far as Gematria, from these letters that these men wrote back and forth to each other back in the 17 and 1800s. Sure. And he was actually spent a lot of time in the National Archives and the Library of Congress and the Rotunda on, I think, Virginia, where all these documents were. And while he was reading them and making copies, I can't remember which building he was in, but the curator, the guy who was running maybe the National Archives or the Library on Congress, he asked him if these were real, documents, and he said, "Well, absolutely. We got them. They were donated from the estates of these, founders. And he said, so these are all this is true. And he said, yes. And he said, well, why weren't we taught any of this? And he said, the guy asked him, well, have you ever lied before? And Gaddy looks at him and he says, well, yeah. He said, why? And he said, to deceive. And he said, the curator said, I can't speak anymore. And he turned around and walked away. And back then you could make copies of these letters. And, Gaddy is like in his, mid to upper 70s. And this was, I don't know when, back in the 70s. He was in Vietnam and stuff and recruited into the NSA. And he, before he realized, what was really going on, he thought he was doing his patriotic duty and all that. And then he figured out, wow, I got to get out of here. And anyway, I don't know if we've talked about this, but right now, about the COVID relief money, it's got an acronym. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but China actually funded this COVID money to the federal government, and the feds gave trillions of dollars to the counties in America. And it was you could only apply if you had COVID losses. So this was money that counties and townships and cities took, and they could only get it. They would only qualify if they had COVID losses, but they were told you don't really have to have any COVID losses, and you can use the money for anything you wanted. And nobody read the contracts except for a very few people. I get on this militia call daily, and it's libertytreeradio.org. And there's a guy that comes on there, and he is the township supervisor of a township in Hillsdale County, Michigan. He was the commander of the Hutari militia. You ever heard that name, the Hutari militia?
I don't think so.
It was in the news back in the 90s, I believe. They were infiltrated by the feds, and they tried to set them up. They had some dupes in there, and they made these claims that this militia was going to go to Washington, D.C. and start blowing stuff up and killing people. Well, they took them to court, and the feds lost, and these guys got released. Well, the commander of that militia is still intact. And after that happened, he was elected to the township supervisor position in his township. And this he really knows his stuff. Well, when they offered him this COVID money, at the same time they offered it to everybody else, he actually read the contract. And it said that you can only pay back this money with assets. And the only assets a county or a township or city has is not its infrastructure, but the land of the people. And this is how you can't pay it back in money. They're coming for the land, people. This contract expires in 2026. He was just on last night, and he said they're coming in 2024 to extract their, payment. They want the land. And there's been a few counties or townships in Michigan that have actually voted to form militias. These township people are getting scared. I don't know if you know about Michigan had the governor, Whitmer. She had made a deal with communist China to build a battery plant up in by Big Rapids, Michigan. And there's college there, and they were going to kick college students out of their housing to house these Chinese workers to build this battery plant. It was all Chinese people, and they were going to build them their own city, and where they had their own housing, their own grocery stores, furniture stores, everything, and the Chinese Communist police department to go with it. And the people found out about it, and they were up in arms. And the city, or the township, started screwing with people that were protesting, and the state started screwing with people that were protesting. The township got voted out, every one of them, and then they came back and broke into the township hall, and they started stealing furniture and shredding documents. And the people that voted them out, they caught them, and they called the sheriff. The sheriff arrested these people. I don't know what's happened since then, but there's been a few townships since then in Michigan that are, they're trying to get their people now in their counties, just the people to form militias, and they're adopting Second Amendment, sanctuaries or something like that. But I think it's going to start getting pretty crazy here in America. These people are desperate, and they know the jig is up, I think. And, it's going to get ugly, brother. So just be prepared and get ready.
I am prepared over here. I've been prepared for the last decade. I know the writing's on the wall, but I appreciate that.
Yes. Okay. Thanks. Appreciate what you do. And you got no call next Wednesday?
I plan on doing the show next Wednesday.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. I thought I heard Oregon and the other guys say you were going to be on next week. So, all right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be here. All right. You have a good night. Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Shout out to Frank the Truth Tank. He's one of the guys that comes out and pounds payment with us all over the nation. He doesn't call into TFR. Must be phone shy or something. But yeah, he said, check out this book, Lights Out by Ted Koppel. Look at the release date on it, 10/18, October 18th. What a release date. Of course, that's the anniversary. Well, that was actually 3 years to the day of Event 201. But of course, that's the day leaving 74 days left in the year, and it's the date that references Luke 10:18. But yeah, this book from 10/18/2016, Lights Out by Ted Koppel. It's interesting how the cover shows the eastern half of the U.S. without power, but the West Coast still has power. Maybe we don't have anything to worry about over here on the West Coast. Just kidding. But yeah, what Frank noticed is something I've been talking about, because all right, here, let's look at the gematria of Lights Out in light of Super Bowl. Lights Out, Super Bowl. Again, our 4 base ciphers. With the alphabetic order, Lights Out and Super Bowl are both 131. With the alphabetic order and numerology, Lights Out and Super Bowl are both 41. With the reverse alphabetic order, Lights Out and Super Bowl are both 112. And with the reverse alphabetic order and numerology, Lights Out and Super Bowl are both 49. The point is the exact same in all 4 ciphers. And what we've been talking about is this Obama movie, Leave the World Behind, that references Friends and stars Julia Roberts. Again, the episode with Julia Roberts and Matthew Perry was the episode called The One After the Super Bowl, which came out January 28th, 96. Cowboys won that Super Bowl over the Steelers. And the interesting thing, that was the 3rd time those teams met in the Super Bowl, Cowboys and Steelers. And again, there's a film from 1977 called Black Sunday, where the Cowboys and Steelers are playing each other in Super Bowl X. And X is the 24th letter in English, and the Super Bowl next year is in 2024. And so we got this recent clue from Obama. But remember, even before the Obama film, we were talking about this, because the Israel thing going on. Jerusalem has the Gematria 58 and 104. Like, this is the 104th NFL season, and it'll be Super Bowl 58. And by the way, that's the Gematria of Julia Roberts' character name in the Friends episode as well. And again, we saw this year, we saw the Ravens make the Chargers, you know, like electricity. We saw them make the Chargers 4-7 this year, something we saw weeks before it happened as a likely outcome, because recall Super Bowl 47 was won by the Ravens, where the power went out against the 49ers. And man, I'll tell you what, if they end up doing a rematch of that Super Bowl, if you still have not gotten your emergency supply when the Super Bowl set, if it happens to be those two teams, and it doesn't just have to be those two teams. You guys, seriously, regardless of what teams are in the Super Bowl, make sure you have an emergency supply of water, non-perishable food, first aid, batteries, candles, matches, lighters, flashlights, protection device. If you don't like guns, get bear spray. Something like that, bear spray, you can take out a group of guys from 30 feet away, can blind them all. But just make sure you're prepared in case they do something crazy to us. If they knocked out the power, even on a single coast for a week, a lot of chaos would break out in the cities. And sadly, we live in a society where we were not raised right for the most part. And again, you just, in case they do something like that to us, you want to make sure you have the essentials to make it a lot less stressful of a situation. And again, make sure you have, if you live in a cold place, make sure you got things to stay warm. You got to be on foot. Make sure you got the right type of shoes. But for a budget of $100, you can probably cover a lot of your bases. If you got a family to look out for, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to think about things like this. But we do live in a nation where 9/11 happened, and we knew we were lied to, and it was a horrible act of destruction committed against us by our very own government for an ongoing agenda, which is still ongoing. And that agenda involves endless warfare, and it has to do with population control. And population control really is the big thing at this day and age. And Henry Kissinger, who just kicked the bucket, remember, he was Mr. Population Control. Could have done us all a favor and left the earth a lot sooner than age 100, but they say the good die young, so he had to stay here a long time. All right, let's go out to Ohio. 513, Cincinnati, you're on.
Yes, sir. My brother, can you hear me, my brother? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. This what I'm looking into pertaining to the Super Bowl and also including the college football championship as well. I think what we're going to see is I think it's pretty much a lot that we're going to see the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, and also we're going to see like the college football championship is going to be in sync with the it's always in sync every year anyway, but anyhow, but I think this year it's going to be the color schemes are going to be in sync as well, meaning like we're going to see the Washington Huskies, the Washington Huskies, and they have that purple thing, and them going up against the Alabama Crimson Tide that has that red scheme, the red. It's going to be all tied into the what's going to take place with the Super Bowl. Like we're going to see the Baltimore Ravens, the purple team going up against the San Francisco, the red team. But I think it's much deeper than that. It's deeper than just the colors. It's deeper than just the colors. But am I going the right way with that? Am I going the correct way with that? Because everything is pretty much lined up where to my understanding, to my point of view, that's what we're going to that's what we're going to get to see coming into next month and going into February. Am I going? Am I heading to the right way with that observation?
Well, we'll find out soon enough. But I hear all the points you're making. They're all very logical points.
Because another thing also with that, I was reading something like an article, and they said like this year this year, but last season, the colors in the Super Bowl logo was red and green, and we had ended up getting the Kansas City and Eagles matchup earlier this year, and last year, the Super. I'm just not really. I seen back then, early last year in late 2021. I seen the
hold on, pause real quick because we're going to the commercial break. I'll connect with you right after the break. Sit tight, everybody.
This is iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, the song looks fine.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes. Even though you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio. Just download the app to your smartphone, or smart TV, and get the best of TFR wherever you are. Radio.
See you there.
So you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Refuse to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? Get routers. Come on, Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers. Oh, if you got those routers, what that will show. And they don't want to give up the routers. They are fighting like hell. Why are these commissioners fighting not to give the routers? How simple they're to be. That will tell the truth. And they don't want to give up the routers. What are they trying to hide? And I say it, and I'll say it, because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? It's so unfair. It's so unfair. It's so ridiculous. I'll be honest now. Look, we all like to win. If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. I'm in 24, sir. You're going to win. And I say, wait a minute. I just won 6 months ago. The big lie, they call it. Those things are unproven. And knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? If you think about everything about cancel culture, they want cancel culture. But what they don't want to do is anything having to do with the 2020 election. We have no press. We have no voice. They almost got away with it. They may have gotten away with it. And I've got to tell you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it. I get along with Putin because that's a good thing, not a bad thing. The county has refused to produce.
Wherever you are. Make it easy. Oh, radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
It's coded in compromised.
Okay, I'm assuming the sound's done. Let's get back out to Cincinnati. And then I want to talk about this observation of it being Thomas Edison's birthday, Mr. Lightbulb, the day of the Super Bowl. And funny enough, he died at age 84 on October 18th. And again, this Ted Koppel book, Lights Out, came out on October 18th. And Ted Koppel's going to turn 84 3 days before the Super Bowl. Talk more about that in a second. But back out to Cincinnati so he can finish his thoughts here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
I kind of lost my train of thought. What? Oh yeah. Yeah. I know where I was on. Just okay. Like what I said. Like this year, the color themes. The color themes pertaining to the logo. Like both teams. Okay, like this year.
You made your point. You made your point. Purple and red. We got it. Is there any more to say about that? If not, we can move on to the next caller. But yeah, you made the point about the color of the logo. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was pretty much it. I won't really want to hold you long, but I just said like most people are saying that there could be other teams, but I don't see it happening. I think that the truth is hidden in plain sight, and that's what we're going to see. And that's what we're going to see in February. And also the 49ers have a connection with Usher Raymond, because the city that Usher Raymond is on a tour, is on a residential I think it's called the residential tour, and the residential tour is going to end just right outside of Santa Clara, California.
I see.
And that's so that's another big riddle. That's another big that's another big Easter egg that is hidden also in plain sight. So I said, sir, I'm not gonna hold you long, but I just kind of get some clarification and just kind of get some some pointers made clear.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it. I love you, brother. Be careful, stay safe, and need anything, I'm here. So,
appreciate
it,
man.
Much it, sir.
Thank you. You do the same, and you have a good night. You take care. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I just want to make this a point again. It was brought up tonight, this book, Lights Out, A Cyber Attack, A Nation Unprepared, Surviving the Aftermath by Ted Koppel. Again, this came out October 18th, 2016. Ted Koppel is going to turn 84 years old, February 8th. That's the day they're putting up the new Kobe statue in LA. And what's interesting is, again, oh boy, my brain is freezing. Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison died at age 84 on October 18th. Okay, you following? Thomas Edison dead at 84 on 10/18. This book by Ted Koppel came out 10/18, and he turns 84 3 days before the Super Bowl. And with regards to Super Bowl 58, the word power has gematria 58. You know, if we have another power outage. And remember, the last time the power went out, Baltimore won the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 47. This year, the Super Bowl's on 2/11, where 2/11 is the 47th prime. Again, that's Edison's birthday anniversary, but Baltimore also 58. And should Baltimore make it to the Super Bowl, don't forget Baltimore also equates to 95, like how the Super Bowl's on the 95th birthday of the Vatican, and it's hard to find a more Catholic city than Baltimore. In fact, you can't. Shout out to Amy. Amy says Thomas Edison would be 177 years old. Of course, the Jesuit order equals 177. New World Order equals 177. Benjamin Netanyahu equals 177. Commodus has that 177 connection because he became the ruler of Rome in 177. Remember, Obama shows the name Commodus at the end of Leave the World Behind about the power outage after a cyber attack. And if I didn't say so, Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit who leads the World Economic Forum, his name is 177. And not only did he simulate the virus, but he's been doing the cyber polygon simulations of cyber attacks taking down, the grid. So very interesting, and good observations from the community tonight. Lights Out came out in 2016, which was about 3 years after a lot of stuff came out. In 2013 was the year of power outage predictive programming. Again, from Janet Napolitano to a number of Congress people to shows on NBC to what Channel 4 and the National Geographic Channel put out. But in 2013, they were just going overboard with the power outage stuff. The Super Bowl will be at the start of 2024, about 11 years after all that began. And we know about 11, the master number, like the master plan. Janet Napolitano said in 2013, the next 9/11 is not if, but when, and it is the power grid being taken down by a cyber attack, which is exactly what this book Lights Out is about. And also, again, what they keep simulating at the World Economic Forum was cyber polygon. So Logan Thomas says the Raiders Allegiant Stadium, that's where the Super Bowl is first stadium contracted to run on strictly renewable energy through, you guessed it, General Electric, Mr. Edison's company. Great research. Let's go out to 516, New York City.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Zach. I'm calling from Long Island.
How you doing?
Where the movie was made, Leaving the World Behind. And I remember Julia Roberts coming to Long Island when she was making the movie. And I was very concerned about her being on Long Island and possibly doing some kind of ritual on Long Island. So I prayed against it when she was here making the film. This movie is very disturbing, to say the least, because I live on Long Island and I am worried about what's going on. Sometimes I think Obama is the Antichrist because he looks so much like Akhenaten. And Akhenaten was the 10th ruler of the 18th dynasty, like Luke 10:18. Also in Obama's movie, he shows a picture of an eclipse. And we're supposed to have an eclipse on April 8th. And if you reverse the numbers, April is the 4th month, 8th day. Obama's birthday is August 4th, which is 8/4. Also, there's another movie coming out on April 26th called Civil War, which is another predictive programming movie, which is equally disturbing. And it's has to do with Texas and California and how they're going to be invaded by the U.S. Army, like attacked. I don't know. So much craziness going on, and I don't know if you decoded Obama's the White House had this nutcracker dance in the White House, and they showed they showed it on TV, and there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of numbers in the background. There's all these numbers, and I wasn't able to decode it, but I don't know if you looked at it or saw it, but it was recently. They did the Nutcracker at the White House with all these weird symbols and weird costumes. There was a guy wearing a purple flower, which reminded me of I Pet Goat 2, that purple lotus flower. Just a lot of connections with I Pet Goat 2. And then there's numbers in the background while they're dancing. The color purple comes up a lot, and there's a room where it's all red, and it looks like red blood splattered on the windows in the White House. It's really bizarre. Have you seen that, Zach?
I have not. I'll have to check it out. People in the chat are saying they saw what you're talking about, so interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if you could take a look at that and decode it, but there's a lot of numbers in there. A lot. It's really disturbing, the whole. But anyway, there's a lot of connections with Obama. Like, everything is connected to him. Like Luke 10:18, Obama, I think, also means lightning in Gematria.
It's Barack. Barack has the connection to lightning. And of course, in Luke 10:18, Satan comes to earth in lightning. Last year, on Obama's birthday, a lightning bolt killed a couple from Wisconsin, so we were told. So,
yeah, I'm wondering if he's the Antichrist. That just. Also, there's this guy, Joseph Aquaviva 2222 on YouTube, and he does Gematria also, but he does it in a biblical, with the Bible and with Barack and, everything that's going on in the world. So I don't know if you know who he is on YouTube, but and then I found you on YouTube recently, and I'm like, wow. And I watch both of you, and it's like it's so interesting. I don't know. You should make a connection with him if you can, or check him out, because both of you are like amazing, like the best I've seen, on social media or YouTube or anywhere.
Well,
So,
he learned from me. Again, just to let you know, he learned from me. So he pretty much just clones what I do. And then he also, his other thing that he likes to do is use the knowledge to decode me and say that I'm a shill. So I'm not a big fan of him, but
really? He
never
brings you up, ever.
No, he does.
He never mentions you.
Trust me, he
does.
Yeah, the fact that you're arguing this, the fact that you're arguing. Sorry, I got. Please don't argue, obviously, if you don't have the facts. Yes, the guy's a troll of mine, and he uses the work. And again,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so what you don't know doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You shouldn't argue with the host of the show when he tells you.
No, I'm not arguing.
But you are arguing. You are arguing. Sorry, I'm going to move on to the next caller. Adios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, goodbye.
All right, bye.
Yeah, take care. So, yeah, just annoying. And no, Obama's not the Antichrist. And it's like the most played out thing in the truth community. And the guy discovered the knowledge, and then he did what every other like Christian right-winger Trump supporter did. Oh, Obama's the Antichrist. Yeah, they do a lot of satanic tributes to Obama, but they do that with Trump, thus MAGA, and everybody else. Biden and everyone being sacrificed in connection to 72, like the 72 demons in the Goetia. The cabal is satanic. So yeah, Obama gets satanic tributes just like the rest of them, But yeah, the Joseph guy, he found the work, and then he just, his whole channel is just focused on Obama's the Antichrist. See, here's my decode. And then he decodes me too. It's annoying. So happy birthday to Richard Quinn. Didn't realize it was your birthday today. Happy birthday, buddy. You made it another year. Good for you. So let's go out to 407. 407, you're on.
Hi, Doc.
Hello.
Serious question. What can we do to stop it?
Well, I mean, I do all in my power to try to spread
people.
So you don't want me to answer the question? Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, really the only thing we can do is help wake up our fellow man, because until enough people are awake, we can't stop it. That's the reality of the situation. There's just not enough of us to stop how big the machine is. But if everybody would just take the time to wake up, then we could stop the machine. If everybody wasn't investing their energy in the system, which is what they want people to do, they want people to go out and spend all their money at the corporations and the fast food and vote in their big selections and go spend money on their new movie releases. And if everyone would just stop supporting the system would be broken and it would not have an impact. And that's been the goal here the whole time, but it's proving quite difficult to achieve the mission so far. So
I totally support you, and I'm the crazy one amongst everyone. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Sure. And I've tried my best to inform everyone, and it's other than going postal. Like, what do you do to stop it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just education.
Yeah.
I guess an open mind too. People need open minds, not what they grew up with and not what they were programmed with. They need to open up and enlighten themselves.
Indeed, they do.
Thank you, Zach. I support you 100%. And keep up the good work. And I'm fighting for you. I'm with you. I'm fighting with you, honestly.
Well, you are welcome, and thanks for the support. Appreciate your call tonight.
I appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
Ciao.
Thank you. All right, let's go out to 803. 803, you're on.
Hello.
Hello.
Is that?
Yep.
Is that?
Obviously.
All right, Zach. Have you heard of the musical artist named Crazy Bone?
Of course, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah. Did you hear about? He said a secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
I don't know if I know about that. I know he's been exposing Illuminati for a while, and he recently had a little health scare. But tell me about this secret meeting.
Nah, he did a video. I think on Bro Sanchez channel. He had a long video on 3 hours how the CIA and Nazis have created hip hop as a tool of MK Ultra, and he brought up Crazy Bone. The video was Crazy Bone, the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. It's on YouTube, and you can check it out on YouTube. Yeah, it's a YouTube video, but it was basically about how the CIA, created gangster rap in order to fill private prisons by glamorizing criminality. That was basically what Crazy Bone was saying, and that's also what Bro Sanchez was saying. But
well, isn't that what a million people have said though? I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, we all know that. 80s, you get the drug war, and then you get crack cocaine in black communities, and then you get gangster rap music about pushing cocaine. I mean, how obvious is it? So, but we talked about that a million times.
Yeah, I know, but he was saying like there was like a purposeful meeting, like in 1991, that the music industry fueled the private prison system, and in the interview he talked about that meeting. So
I see. Now, what I wonder is, did Crazy Bone call out himself? Because of course, Bone pushed the whole gangsta thing. They're the big blood hip hop group when. It doesn't seem like there's like the whole West Coast was into the Crip thing, and then Eazy-E went and created Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then they were really pushing the Bloods thing in their music. So I mean, they were a part of this. So that's what I'd like to hear Crazy Bone talk about. Like, was he just doing it because he was young and naive, or did he talk about that?
I don't know. I only saw like a segment of the interview. It's like 12 minutes, like a 12-minute video. But yeah, it was probably a longer edition of the interview though.
For people who don't know, Eazy-E, who started NWA, also started Bone Thugs and Harmony, which Crazy Bone is now speaking out against these things. But for people that don't know this, Bone's original rap name was the Band-Aid Boys, which equals 201, like Ruthless Records equals 201, like Eazy-E ended up dying 201 days after his birthday in history. But yeah, I would like to hear if Crazy Bone, you know, if he has any regrets about the music he made. I recently heard Too Short on his own show on Sirius saying that he wishes he'd spent more time putting out music that would have helped educate this younger generation, because he's saying how hip-hop music's pretty trash right now, and he feels that it's his responsibility as well as all the other famous rappers who didn't do enough to push a good message, and now it's kind of devolved into what commercial music is today, which is just like no message at all. So anyhow.
Yeah, and I had another question. Are you okay if we upload, like, I think I got some Gematria school lessons saved. Are you okay if we upload that to
you can upload any of my videos anytime, anywhere. Nobody has to ask me permission to re-upload my stuff. You can clip it, you can cut it up, and you're more than welcome. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Okay, and also, I think in one of those lessons you said that Faith Giovanni said that many different groups of people use hundreds of different ciphers within the English language. I don't know if you said that in one of your videos.
Yeah, it's in the book, The Divine Triangle by Faith Giovanni. She only, in the book, she only uses one cipher, the alphabetic order of numerology, but then at the end of the book, she says there's over 100 different ciphers of the English language used by many different groups. She doesn't elaborate, but I read that book when I was first studying this in 2013, and I was like, whoa, over 100 ciphers. Like, what could they be? But I have that book somewhere back here on this shelf. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been reading the book, and well, not that book. I'm talking about your book, Letters and Numbers. Because like when you look at the distance, like if you look at distance between days, like if you include the start date, that'll be the span. Start date to the end date, that'll be the span between days. If you do the distance between days, that doesn't include the start date, correct?
Say it one more time.
Like if you're doing like date duration, like somebody's birthday to like a certain event for a date, if you include the start date, that'll be a span between days and the end date.
Right.
But if you don't include the start date, that'll be a distance between days.
Right. It's like it's either your 84th day of your age, for example, or it's 83 days after your birthday, this type of thing. And both measurements are fair. So, yes.
Right. And also, K, the 11th letter, and Phi, the 22nd letter, they're dependent on each other. If you reduce those like to a single digit, or if you reduce them to, that was another type of digit, and then but as the 19th letter would be independent though, correct?
The 19th letter?
Yeah, that'd be independent. It wouldn't have anything, because I know 11 is the master number and 22 is the master builder number.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. And I have another question. Have you, I don't know if you did like a truth telethon. I don't know if there was like a truth telethon. Have you thought about like the Gematria telethon? I don't know how long that'll go. That'd be like a couple of hours. You could just invite different people on talking about Gematria. I know you have B26, you have other people in there. Because I think the truth telethon is like 12 hours, but you don't have to, I don't think you have to be present for the whole time. Because I think some YouTubers, they do long streams, and leave it to the other panels to carry the show, and then they come back and do. Have you thought about doing a Gematria telethon?
Honestly, what I'd like to figure out how to do is build a website just like TFR and just get people who'd like to host shows and have a 24/7 Gematria News radio station. So sort of a similar idea, but yeah. So anyhow, do appreciate it, caller. Good thoughts and questions. Thank you.
All right. You also have the Voice of Humanity's YouTube channel, right?
I do. Yeah. It's still up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Still use that? Okay.
All right. Have a good night, man. Thank you. All right. We'll be right back after the break, you guys.
Every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. It may take you twice as long. You may have to take courses and classes. You might not read as fast. You might not move as quick. You might not have as much, but don't you quit.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Fat Watch all about? I can't promise you answer the meter and the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Rituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I'm Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
Hold it. No hype. No fear.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. Again, we're taking your calls the rest of the way. You want to phone in tonight, 213-233-3998. And 917, you're up next.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Zach?
I can.
Zach, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Zach, great to talk to you again, Zach. It's, this is Mel from New York. I spoke to you a couple of times before, and you're one of my favorite guys. I always praise you, you know that. So today I have a couple of points, Zach. The first one is that, if all these scientists in the past were all liars and they were all like Masons, let's say, and like, for example, Newton, with all his laws of motion and the others that came after, right? If these guys, they were Masons, they were all like practicing occult and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of truth to what they did do, apparently, because it was the scientists who told us that there are waves in the air that we can't see. And they were right. We use telephones, all this modern technology that they're giving us. It's apparently jiving with what they're telling us. For example, they are the ones who told us they put satellites up in the air, and these satellites give us the waves that send us back. And it seems like it's freaking true because we use the GPS, we are using the cell phones, we are uploading all this stuff. That's amazing. Like if you look at where mankind is today compared to what they were like in the past. I mean, even just 200 years ago, where in New York City, where I live, I mean, people just pee and throw pee right out of the windows, and it was just like these horse carts everywhere, and all these, but they didn't know how to do plumbing. So mankind apparently has come tremendously far in a positive way, Zach, and it's apparent. We drive cars, and the laws of motions that they're telling us are apparently testable. And, like, for example, the wheels that turn, things that the factories, how they work, how the machines work, they work on these physical laws that these people have told us. So it can't all be lies. So when they told us, for example, if they're telling us they're able to put these telescopes up in space to look outside, right? Or if they lied to us about the Earth being flat, and and all this, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. So what do you think about that first point?
Yeah, the people who rule the world are very advanced people, and they control the technology. And a lot of people do contend that everything is fake and everything's a lie. But I always say, well, that's not true. I mean, they did send us to school and filled our head with lies, but not everything they taught us was a lie. Math isn't a lie, for example, and again, mathematics are what are used to mathematics is the study that was used to prove the shape of the earth. And a lot of people are in complete denial about this. But yeah, I hear the point you're making. So I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach. So that's one thing. So I feel like, and also I feel that these people that are controlling, right? They're almost like these Mayan priests, They're like, they make these sacrifices, they kill all these people, do all this evil, and on the other side, they do the good side of it to balance it out, it seems to me. Because it's always like, oh, it's like a mercy killing kind of thing. Listen, tomorrow is going to be the 18th, it jives with your birthday, listen, I'm going to kill you, how about it? And the guy says, it's fine, it seems to me that's the way it is. Because many of these people are like, they die at the old age, at the right day, on the right time. And it seems like, and at the same time, we can't think about the organic side of it because we hear the freaking song, like you keep on mentioning. You don't need any more proof than the 1983 song with Police, Murder by Numbers, or the other one. So that's proof enough for me. Just that poster and that alone, that somebody is obviously aware of all this and they're doing it. So there's no doubt about it. So one final thing, Zach, is this. There's a book called Urantia. It's online, it's free. It's apparently written by angels, Zach. And, some angels spoke through a guy when he was sleeping. He was fast asleep, and these people would come and ask him questions, and this guy would speak in absolutely perfect English. which he could never do when he woke up. And when this guy wakes up, he doesn't know what the heck. He's like, I don't know what I said last night. He doesn't remember anything. So it's these angels talking to him, and it became a book. You should look at this book. It's called Urantia, Urantia. And in this book, the fascinating thing is it brings the connection of science and religion. It talks about how angels actually came and put cells in the planet when it was nice and salty waters, right? They are the ones who came and put the life-forming cell, from which they then wait to see the dinosaurs appear, and then the monkeys appear, and then evolution happens, and then races, that evolutionary races begin to appear on the planet, right? And they call that the thinking creature, the creature with a will, with a willpower. And that's when there's mind ministry going on with the angels connecting to the people, guiding them, blah, blah, blah. It's beautifully written. You should explore this book. In this book, they make this connection and they talk about how humans indeed were evolved creatures from species. And there was an extraterrestrial Adam and Eve family, right, that appears on this planet 36,000 years ago. And their families blend, have sex with all the other, intermingle with all the races for a biological uplift. This is the angel story. It makes so much sense. And it's like, and that's how all the biological uplift begins. And then, and then they disappear after that. They live there. And that's the story of the Garden of Eden, but it's misunderstood. It's like the family of these Adam and Eve, which they made many of them, would intermingle with the existing evolving races for a biological uplift as per God's plan, it says in there. So it's fascinating. In that book, it talks about how humans evolved up to the point that book was written in 1920 and in the 1920s in Chicago. And in that book, it also talks about the future and how they would invent all these. And it's fascinating. It describes how they would find these bones and they would find all these things and how they would put new satellites up in the air. It's all in that book before it all started. So you should take a look at that book, and it might make a lot of sense to so many people that are dying with religion, constantly talking about it's only 6,000 years old, and otherwise there's no God. It's all God's plan to have an evolution, to do all this. Explained so well in that book, Zach. So anyway, I've been talking for a while. So those are my 2 points. Once again, your work is incredible, Zach. You're an amazing guy. Like in terms of, and I'm also shocked at the way you know so much about so many other things, That's why what I'm saying would really make sense to you. Like if you looked at that book, you'd probably be like, some things will will click for you. You might agree with the book. So great talking to you again, Zach.
All right.
So keep up the great work you're doing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
I will
have a great night.
Yeah, I'll look into this book. It sounds similar to the Anunnaki theory, but I will look into it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great talking to you, Zach. Have a great day.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Have a good night. Okie dokie. Let's go out to 813. 813, you're on.
Hey, Zach. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. Thanks for taking my call, as always. It's been an absolute pleasure to witness every one of your videos. It really has been. You're a deep and complete thinker, obviously, and it's why I tune in at all times. I have 2 distinct comments. Please let me rant about point 1, which is the number 12, and point number 2, DNA. Of course, I wish I could have called in at 12:21 at 12:21 a.m., but let's talk anyways, okay?
Just about
Zach,
12.
as an educator,
Before you go into 12, just here's a fun 12 thing. Yesterday was the day leaving 12 days left in the year. And yesterday's star NBA player John Morant, number 12, came back and he hit the game-winning shot to give the Pelicans their 12th loss. And I could go on and on about how scripted it was, including this whole suspension supposedly over having a gun in social media. But go ahead. I'm listening to the 12s.
Yeah, man. I've heard your sports rants before. I've watched countless videos, and I'm just going to go on a tirade here. Just bear with me. And I'm sure most of this is already what you know, but it's kind of beautiful in some regard. And you, as an educator and student in the past, I bet you took note that they stopped multiplication tables at 12 times 12 in early grade school. And from there, you know, my personal self, I noticed that we had 12 months of the year, and then I looked at the clock, and sure enough, there's a fucking number 12. And from there, my schooling, I noticed there was 12 days. There's 12 days of Christmas, 12 inches in a foot, 12 keys on a standard dial phone, the number of functional keys on a PC keyboard from F1 to F12. The chromatic scale is a set of 12 pitches in the tonal music, 12 eggs in a dozen, 12 Olympians with the principal gods of the Pantheon were preceded by the 12 Titans, and Hercules carried out his 12 labors. And my last year as a boy, when you're only 12 years old, you become a teenager. And in English common law, there's 12 jurors, which harken back to 10th century law code. And then from there, in my religion class, there's more 12s. Guess what? For instance, Jacob has 12 sons who became 12 tribes of Israel, and Jesus chose 12 apostles. And so what's up with the number 12? And I got to thinking, I said, 102. Where is there one is born from the two versus 201, where the two create one? Hence the NFL quarterback's love of number 12, the Jesuit Catholic, i.e. Tom Brady GOAT Catholic Jesus Savior complex, a complex indeed.
Yeah, and the football field is 12 sections of 10 yards. The field is 100 yards, and then you have two end zones that are each 10 yards for a total of 120 yards. And 12, obviously all important to these people. It's another number that relates to completion, of course, astrology, the 12 constellations of the zodiac. So,
isn't that crazy? And before I leave, of course, I wanted to make one and two comments just to be funny. But my second comment is, and it may tickle your fancy, and I believe that the addition of sometimes the 4 base ciphers have meaning as well. For instance, the sequence of our combination of the first letters of the 4 nucleotides that make of our DNA, A, T, C, G, they do equal 31, 13, 77, and 23, which equal 144, which is 12 by 12 and 12 squared, using those 4 base ciphers encoded in our DNA indeed.
yeah, great observations. And I do recognize your name on the call board. You leave a lot of comments. I appreciate all the comments you leave on the videos too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're a champion. Beyond regards, you're the man. And I really enjoy your videos. Thank you so much for everything you do, Zach. You're a great guy, man.
Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate all you do too. You have a good night, friend.
You too, man. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Let's go out to 513, another call from Cincinnati. By the way, in Cincinnati last weekend, Nick Mullins was playing for the Vikings, and he fell to 5-13 for his career in the 513 area code. 513, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry, just have to pause this. There we go. I'm just calling in with a couple of observations from recently. The first one was this Amazon documentary that I watched randomly. I posted it on the Mighty, on your social media thread, regarding the end of the tapestry. I'm not saying that properly. How some guy way back in the 1500s, a Saint Malachi had predicted the end of the popes, and St. Francis was going to be the last one.
Yeah.
And he prophesied about the end of the world and the end of the city of Seven Hills.
Yes.
So I that to correlate really well with everything that you've been talking about, just being prepared. So thanks for constantly giving us the good heads up and reminding us the things to get, because like some of us are a little desensitized from that, from the Y2K scare and all that, and we may have prepared once or twice before, but kind of stopped paying attention for a while. So I think it's good to tune back in. And then I did happen to watch that guy that a previous caller mentioned, his decode about the iPet goat stuff, and because recently apparently our former president visited a school, and the way that that was kind of staged was very similar to that short cartoon film. So it might be worth looking at. I don't know. The 1018 thing was loud and clear there, and a lot of other imagery and stuff. So I mentioned it in the comment section about, like, I've just recently been getting into these My Lunch Break videos. Are you familiar with this guy's work?
My Lunch Break, no.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. He does short videos about all these, you know, we're surrounded by them everywhere in cities all over the world, of this amazing architecture, and kind of like breaks down, you know, like, no, we didn't build these with horse and buggies in the 1800s, you know, one guy and his brother, you know, and he kind of like does the research and says, oh, this guy and his brother happen to be building 3 of these amazing, you know, buildings, all in different sections of the world. So just kind of breaking apart the lie on the origins of this fascinating architecture that we've never been able to duplicate, that have stood the test of time. And so really good work there, and led me down the path on what he's doing. Well, another previous caller mentioned that book, which I'm not familiar with, but the storyline is interesting enough. I thought it kind of correlated with, you know, maybe there were some superior beings who came down, put up a bunch of buildings. They were tall, you know, they lived here a long time, and somehow there was some kind of previous great reset, is what they're calling it. And we're just living on top of these old civilizations. So if we're preparing for another reset, it's just all correlating together, all of that stuff. And finally, I wanted to delve into the Hertz frequency. We were talking earlier, a previous caller, about bone thugs and the interview and the CIA apparatus. Well, I also posted on, on the Mighty, on your social media channel previously this week, regarding sound frequency, and how in the video that I posted, back in the 1920s, they retuned all Western music to a frequency of 432 versus 440. And apparently this creates generally more anxiety, just like music in the movies, you know, in thriller movies or horror movies would. Just a little additional anxiety versus a more divine frequency. So I've been playing some 528 frequency. I even played it at work, and it was kind of fun. It does kind of generate a more peaceful vibe. So I'll just leave it there. And I've been listening to a lot of 528 music, and even for my grandson, it's been fun. So that's all.
Well, I appreciate your call very much. Interesting information. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, you have a good night. All right. My Lunch Break, the channel's up on YouTube if you want to check it out. And that is something I often think about, is just how amazing older buildings are. Just the detail, the architecture. And it's just like old writing too. I mean, writing from the 1800s, buildings from the 1800s. It's just there's a lot more skill in it. And it makes you wonder, is it just like humanity's on the decline? Are we not capable of what our ancestors once were? And in a way, I mean, it would kind of make sense how it got to be here. Once upon a time, our ancestors, they weren't growing up in the slave classroom, wasting their upbringing, you know, learning about a bunch of fake history, being indoctrinated into what the authorities want you to believe and know. They were out living and, you know, being in the community with their fathers and grandfathers who had the skills, and learning the skills from them. And it's just, now everybody sits at a desk for 13 years and reads out of his story book. And you just see what it's done to society. It's just low skills, low knowledge, and a lot of false history in people's heads. the freedom. Let's go out to 206. 206, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing, man? I'm actually just calling just to see if you could do a decode for me. I don't know if you heard about the story. So one of my friends actually went to Las Vegas and like about a week ago, and she got murdered by an NBA player. Have you seen that?
NBA player murder?
Yeah, he killed the girl. She actually went to my school. His name is Chance. Like, you can search it up if you want to see it. And I was just seeing if you could decode anything about it.
I see. Chance Comanche. Okay.
Yeah.
And the girl went to, she's still in high school?
No, we actually graduated a few years back, 2015, but we went to school together, and she went out to Vegas to visit some friends, and she ended up getting killed by this NBA player who she doesn't know, I'm pretty sure.
I'll look into it. Yeah, I wasn't aware of this story, so I'll take a look.
Okay.
Sorry you lost your friend. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that, but thank you for all the work that you do, man. And whenever you get a chance, if you could decode that, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I will do that. Thank you. Thank you for that, up.
Appreciate it, Zach. Have a good day.
She's from Seattle, the 206 area code. Of course, in Jewish gematria, sacrifice is 206. We all know what happened to Kurt Cobain in 94, Bill Gates' breakout year, where he died 206 days before Bill Gates' birthday. But yeah, I'll take a look at that one. Let's go out to one of our favorite veteran callers from New York. What's up, 347?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I got a couple of points. I'm going to make it quick so you can get to some more callers. The first one is an army sacrifice. Did you see the story about the 2 drill sergeants dying within a week at Fort Jackson near Columbia, South Carolina?
I didn't.
Well, the first person was 30 years old, and he was from the 34th Infantry, and the second person was 34 years old. So there's the 2 34s for murder.
Yeah.
So both of them was killed. Both of them died in less than a week.
Yeah, that's weird.
And both of them were drill sergeants. How weird is that, Zach?
Yeah, that's definitely weird.
All right, so when you get a chance, look into that one. All right, my next one is, this is about the migrants. This is coming from the New York Post. This is just the title that got me. Texas border agents outnumbered 200-1 by migrants at Eagle Pass Station, 260% capacity. That's the headline.
Yeah, I see what stands out.
So basically that's a 201 right there, right?
Yeah, 200-1. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And the next story was Jeffrey Epstein. They're gonna release the list of all the names that was associated with what was that? January 1st. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one either. Let's see. Federal judge orders documents naming Jeffrey Epstein's associates to be unsealed. There's going to be over 150 names. Okay.
Oh, you said 150? I saw 170.
The BBC headline does say over 170. The AP headline says over 150.
So what's the ritual in that, releasing it at the beginning of the year?
I'll have to look at it, see how it lines up with his passing. So.
Okay, and the next one, you already announced the first one about the Ja Morant one. I thought that was interesting that it was 7-point underdogs in that game, and he come back and he hit the winning shot. He scored 35. I think he scored 34 points in the game.
Big Memphis number 34. Just how perfect the ritual was. I've always called the Memphis Grizzlies the 25 team because they have 1 billion 25 rituals over the year. So he gets a 25-game suspension, which is a joke in itself because that team's always doing rituals with that number. And then Grizzlies in gematria equals 131. He came back exactly 131 days after his birthday. And again, he was out because of the gun thing. Gun has gematria of 12. Jersey number 12 comes back on the day, leaving 12 days left in the year, and gives the Pelicans their 12th loss. It just shows you what a whole, just and it's like we're saying, the same knowledge to script the sports, to script the news. He's been used in the news, more gun shaming, more racial shaming, and then comes back by the code and wins the game. So.
Yeah, I didn't. I was busy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to look at your Patreon yesterday. Did you pick the Grizzlies for the upset yesterday?
Well, it was. I said the Grizzlies were definitely worth $1 parlay yesterday on that 12 narrative because I saw how much sense that made. But the thing that was tricky is, again, Memphis Grizzlies equals 97 in the most pure cipher, which is the 25th prime, which is why they're the 25 team. Had the Pelicans coach won, he would have got his 97th all-time win. So it was like, okay, is he doing that, or is it about Ja Morant and the 12s? And usually the player narratives do beat the coach narratives. So definitely saw the value in the upset in that one yesterday.
Okay, one more thing. This is from last Monday night. It was the Giants and the Titans playing last week, and both of them won at underdog. Do you get the joke? Giants and Titans. Giants is big, and the Titans is bigger than the Giants, and the Titans was the bigger underdog. What a sick joke. You didn't even need the Gematria for that.
Well, we loved last Monday night. We thought both those upsets were very likely.
Radio.
We'll be right back in a minute.
iHeartRadio makes you one of them. When you have a great melody, song is right.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
You know, you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio. Just download the app to your smartphone or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
I'll see you there.
So you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Refuse to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? Get routers. Come on, Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers. Oh, if you got those routers, well, that will show up. And they don't want to give up the routers. They are fighting like hell. Why are these commissioners fighting not to give the routers? How simple could it be? Let me tell the truth. And they don't want to give up the routers. What are they trying to hide? And I say it, and I'll say it, because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? It's so unfair. It's so unfair, so ridiculous. I'll be honest. Look, we all like to win. If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. I'm in 24, sir. You're going to win. And I say, wait a minute. I just won 6 months ago. The big lie, they call it. Those claims are unproven. And knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. When do we get those routers, please? If you think about everything about cancel culture, they want cancel culture. What they don't want to do is anything having to do with the 2020 election. We have no press. We have no voice. They almost got away with it. They may have gotten away with it. And I've got to tell you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it. I get along with Putin because that's a good thing, not a bad thing. The county has refused to produce the network.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
It's coded in popular taste.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour show left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way, and let's get back out to our friend in New York who got cut off by the break. 347, you're back on.
Yes, you always see they do the natural disasters when people about to travel a lot. You see, they talk. I see on CNN they talking about flooding on the West Coast in California while everybody's traveling for this Christmas holiday. And then you did a story about the winds in Argentina, the 13 killed with the wind in Argentina over the weekend. I think I saw it. You posted.
That's the Pope's native country. Yeah, that happened. That happened the day before and the day of the Pope's birthday, along with what happened in Charleston, the holy city, on the Pope's birthday. For anyone who missed my video over the weekend about the flooding in Charleston, check that out. And again, that was another date we had circled before it even happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to make you no point. So when you get a chance, just look into those topics that I talked about.
Okay, will do. You always got a lot of great observations. Thank you.
All right, have a good one, Zach.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
Okay.
All right. Always a great call from our friend in New York. 708, you're on.
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I noticed somebody earlier was talking about the Super Bowl and how like it might be a sign that the Ravens are there, and I heard you talk about it too. Did you know back in week 5, the 49ers and Cowboys score ended in 52, right?
Right.
That's when they 40 like really beat them down.
Right.
And number 54 on the 49ers defense caught an interception. I'm not sure what his name is, but he caught an interception, and the broadcaster goes on to reference Kobe. You know that 54 that it equals in that cipher that, you know, Super Bowl equals 41, like the age Kobe died.
Kobe
Right
Bean
after that.
Bryant. His full name is 54. Again, dead the Sunday before Super Bowl 54, the Joe Montana Bowl, where Joe Montana also equals 54. Yeah.
Exactly. And right after that play, Jordan Mason, the running back, went on to score a touchdown, and he wears number 24 like Kobe did. And also in the same game, number 48 got an interception for the 49ers. And, you know, they mentioned how he used to play for the Packers. And the very next night was the day the Packers would play the Raiders. And, you know, of course, that's where the Super Bowl is going to be at Las Vegas. They mentioned how he used to play for the Packers, and they went on to play California Love by Tupac, that they went to commercial break.
I see. Who died in Vegas. And then this year they bring back the Tupac killer story as the Super Bowl's about to go down in Vegas. Yeah.
Right. And, like, I know most people will say, well, there was the 49ers, and they're in California, and that's a popular song by Tupac. But if you've seen the California Love video, it's interesting that they chose that one regardless of those things, because it has like a post-apocalyptic kind of theme.
Sure, it does. You're right. It's like Mad Max.
Exactly. And it's interesting that they had, you know, chose to play that song after the former Packer gets the interception the night before the Packers are to play the Raiders in Las Vegas, where Tupac died and where the Super Bowl is this year. And I don't know, like, if there's some kind of apocalyptic connection with Las Vegas other than, you know, that kind of stuff. But that's very interesting. And you know, the next day when the Raiders and Packers did play, Josh Jacobs was coming into that game with another apocalyptic number of touchdowns for his career, 41. And, you know, Kobe Bryant, right, that cipher. So Josh and Pope, of course, equals 52 and 56 in the same cipher. And the Super Bowl is 56 days after the Pope's birthday.
Okay.
And in that Raiders and Packers game, number 41, just like Josh Jacobs came in with 41 touchdowns, number 41, Robert Spillane, went on to get 2 interceptions on the Raiders defense. The game even ended in 17-13 Raiders. And, you know, the 30th prime is 113, like Kobe's name equals, like apocalypse equals. And I just feel like there's some kind of apocalyptic thing there. And I remember somebody was, you know, saying earlier that the Ravens might be in there. Oh, it makes sense. It equals 41 in the same cipher as Super Bowl and Kobe Bryant. And, you know, and 58 in the same cipher as Kobe Bryant also.
Interesting.
And this Super Bowl, right, as you know, is Super Bowl 58. And I thought that's just something to pay attention to. It might be, you know, a rematch of that, what was it, I think, Super Bowl 47 with the Ravens and Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sorry, the Ravens and 49ers.
Yeah, again, that was the Blackout Bowl, Super Bowl 47. Power outage for 34 minutes. And what's funny about 34 is Nevada equals 34, where this year's Super Bowl is. And this year's Super Bowl was actually supposed to be in the Saints Stadium, which is where Super Bowl 47 was, but then they moved it to Vegas. And the word black equals 34 as well, in light of the power being out for 34 minutes of blackout. So we'll see.
That's interesting. I didn't know that it was supposed to be in the Saints Stadium. It's interesting that you say that because New Orleans equals 144, just like the mark of the beast. Like, you know, that Kobe's gematria comes up in 54 in the same cipher as Super Bowl, and Kobe Bryant comes up as 41.
Yeah, and remember in the primetime game, last Thursday Night Football, you had the first all-black officiating and replay crew in NFL history, and they had to pay tribute to 42. The score was 42-0 at the half with the black team, the Raiders, up, and then they won 63-21, a difference of 42. This year's Super Bowl is the first ever Super Bowl on the 42nd day of the year. And if you go back and look, the 55th points and then the extra point for the 56th were scored by number 95 on a defensive touchdown, and the Super Bowl's on the Vatican's 95th birthday. And that number 95 who scored those points, he was drafted by the Saints in 2013, which was the year of the blackout Super Bowl in New Orleans. And then again, just the 56 total points when power outage equals 56. And they just coded that number in a million ways into the Obama film about a power outage. Somebody, if you watch that film with Obama, they have a clip of an Atlanta Braves game. Somebody looked up that actual Braves game. In that Braves game that they chose to show in the film, the Braves became 56 and 56 in that game, just like how power outage equals 56, and Obama won the 56th election, and Julia Roberts turned 56 the day Matthew Perry died. So, you know, and just like how Chuck D's What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down album came out with Public Enemy, it came out 56 days after his birthday. So these people aren't messing around. And again, one of the big songs in that movie is Too Close. Are they telling us that this event is too close? We'll see.
Right. And did you notice, like, if you type in next too close, it equals 157 in the same cipher that Apocalypse does?
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
There's like, it seems like a lot of biblical symbolism of the end times. Like, for all we know, maybe, you know, this has been going on for a while. Like Michael Jordan's name equals 113, and back in the 90s, all those championships. Who knows, like, how long, you know. It just seems like, you know, there's always this biblical symbolism, and maybe, like, at some point in history, even before anyone living today's time, because of how long gematria has existed and these people have been in charge, it just seems like maybe there has been some kind of symbolism back there, and they're playing out the Bible. I can't say, I mean, of course, I don't know for sure. I don't know if anybody really does, but, you can't help but point out that biblical symbolism,
Indeed. It's always there.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had tonight, though, Zach, man. I appreciate you for listening and all you've done. I credit you for showing me Gematria in the first place. It's something I've been on for just, I think, a couple years now. And thank you. That's all for tonight. And happy holidays. Enjoy your holiday and stuff. And thanks, man. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Yeah, same to you. You have a good night. Take care. All right. We got 5 people on hold. If you want to phone in, probably get to you before the end of the show. What's up, 408?
All right, Zach. About a week and a half ago now, Shohei Ohtani signed his mega deal with the Dodgers, and that came on 44 date numerology. It was December 9th. 44 date numerology. Shohei Ohtani equals 193, the 44th prime, and he signed his deal 157 days after his 29th birthday, and Los Angeles equals 37 and 109. 157 is the 37th prime, and 109 is the 29th prime, and Los Angeles equals, I just said that, Los Angeles equals 37, 109. And it was 22 weeks and 3 days after his birthday, skull and crossbones 223, and they say his contract is worth $700 million, and if you write out 700 million, it equals 223. And something that I noticed is that the deal was signed 110 days before next year's opening day. And when you think of 110, you think of that's how many stories are on the World Trade Center towers. And they were designed by another Japanese man, Minoru Yamasaki. And I don't know I feel like this is something Rambo would have talked about at some point, but I went back to your website, couldn't find anything. Minoru Yamasaki also designed the twin Century Plaza towers in Los Angeles, which are each 44 stories tall. So there is kind of a connection there between Ohtani, Japan, the World Trade Center, and LA. And those, the Century Plaza towers in LA, they opened in 1975, and Ohtani was born on 7/5. And Minoru Yamasaki died at age 73, 67 days after his birthday, and Los Angeles Dodgers equals 73, and Ohtani equals 67, and Los Angeles CA also equals 67. And it was a span of 68 days after his birthday that he died, and they say that Ohtani's contract will have $680 million deferred after the 10 years are up.
Interesting. Yeah. For people, it might be number overload for a lot of people, but you start to look, you'll see those numbers come up in a lot of rituals in LA, like Kobe. Kobe died on the 157th day of his age on the 37th anniversary of Bear Bryant, and plus Bryant equals 37, and so does Kobe Bryant, going right with the whole LA thing. So, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. And Ohtani was born on July 5th, which is the day leading 179 days in the year, which is the 41st prime. And LA and Los Angeles CA are both 41, and he'll likely spend most, if not all, of his Major League Baseball career with the 2 LA teams.
Yeah. It reminds me that Kobe's death was synced with the Emperor of Japan. Kobe died on 126. 126th emperor. If I remember right, he became emperor 271 days before Kobe died, which is the 58th prime, and Kobe Bryant's also 58, like Los Angeles Lakers. And then Kobe Japan was established on April 1st, 4-1, like Kobe Bryant's also 41, dead on the Pope's 41st day of his age. So, yeah, good work, Evan.
Yeah, and also just one more thing. I had a question about the kind of the connections between Saturnalia, Sol Invictus, and Christmas. So is the kind of the common line of thought that that Saturnalia and Sol Invictus were these Roman holidays, and then either the Catholic Church or someone they hijacked those holidays, and instead of celebrating the sun, they were in Sol Invictus, they instead implemented Christmas, where we celebrate God's son. Is that kind of what happened?
No. The Catholic Church has always been a sun cult. They always worship the sun. That's why the Catholic Church is pagan, and that's why pretty much every Christian's pagan too, because the Catholic Church has laid down what Christianity is, and that's why they're doing all the pagan rituals from Easter to Christmas. But the Catholic Church wanted just more people under the church because they wanted to control. So there were Christians who are worshiping this Son of God, and then they wanted to rebrand and suck that movement also under the umbrella of their church. And then that's why the Council of Nicaea comes right after in the year 325 AD, where they were going over the strategy. Again, if you want to look into the history of the first use of the word propaganda, it was by the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church said they want to spread the propaganda of Christianity for the sake of their power and control. But yeah, so it's just like it's just like the Catholic Church is a thing that wants power and control, and appealing to this religion that was growing at the time, worshiping this Son of God, Jesus, as we now call him, or Yeshua back then, that they just wanted to figure out how they could get that into their spiritual accordant on the same timeline. And it's just so obvious over time how it all came to be. And then the new language, English, and the word son pronounced having this dual meaning, the object in the sky and the male offspring. So again, for people who don't know, 274 AD is when they started celebrating the sun in the sky's birthday on 1225. And then 320 AD is when they started celebrating Jesus' birthday on the same day, 1225, which is 46 years later. And again, in Gematria, religion equals 46, Catholic 46, paganism 46, Sol Invictus 46, and then right down up to the modern day, JFK dead at 46, Joe Biden number 46. So again, you can, obviously those things happened before English even existed, but you can see how the language pays tribute to the history. So.
Right. Yeah, it clears things up a little bit. I wanted to get the point across about the Century Plaza Twin Towers in LA, designed by the same guy that designed the World Trade Center towers. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll let the other callers have their chance.
All right. Thanks, Evan. Have a good night. All right. Let's go out to California. 626. Are you trying? Okay, you're trolling. Okay, weirdo. Let's go out to 772.
Hey, Zach, what's up? So I got some pretty interesting 201 connections. In Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he starts talking about numerology and gematria at page 201. And that's when the chapter starts. And also, have you ever, one of the gospels also equals 201. You know which one? I bet you're not going to get this one.
One of the gospels equals 201.
Yeah.
It must. Is it what in what cipher?
I think a reverse. Let me see. Reverse ordinal. I think. What is it? One of the four.
I don't think any of the gospels equal 201 in reverse. But what chapter equals 201?
I knew you weren't going to get this. Have you ever heard of the Gospel of Judas?
Well, that's not really one of the gospels, but okay.
It is. It's obviously not in the main Bible, but the gospel or not the Gospel of Judas equals 201. And they found it like in the 1970s. And it's basically about it actually has a really interesting interpretation on the Bible, where basically God and Satan are both not the God in the Old Testament is not the true creator. He was created by the true God, which is basically like in all of us. And he's basically a foolish God that demands sacrifice and is very violent. And it also says that Satan's also one of the foolish gods. They're one of the 12 gods that was created by that God, which is also interesting. The last caller was talking about 12. Also, the word quarantine, it comes from Italian, where from quarento, which is 40, because they I think during the Black Plague they used to have the ships docked for 40 days before they could come on land, you know, to quarantine. So that's what that word came from. Also, I missed something really important in the Leave the World Behind movie, and it was that they show a lunar eclipse during the movie, and I completely missed that because it just didn't show up in my brain. I don't know why. I didn't think eclipse, but they showed the moon like turning red. Like, you remember when they showed where the moon landed?
No, what they show from like a view from the moon, the Earth becoming directly between the moon and the sun. That's what they show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was why it didn't pop up in my brain. But the next lunar eclipse is on March 14th, 2025. Or not, March 14th, 2025. So I just thought that was, you know, is that when it's gonna happen? You know, is that like is that their clue of when it's coming? And also I don't know if you read the comments on under the video for Jay's the video that you made about Jay, but I gave a lot of advice on there. My mom had taken that tea, the Shankapidra, to break up the stones. She took the supplement in the blue bottle that's called Stonebreaker, which is Shankapidra, and it broke up her stones in a day. She was able to pass them.
Yeah, a lot of people left that recommendation for the tea, and shout out to Chris, the teacher in New York. He also texted me and said that he had a bad kidney stone problem, and that's what he's used to resolve his problem as well. Jay left a comment, and he said he's not sure he wants to try it because he feels like nothing's helping him out. So he has like a kind of a defeatist attitude right now. But Jay, if you're out there, you might want to look into that one because it sounds like there's a lot of positive feedback on it.
Yeah, that's really good. I found some new research. There's a new paper that came out. I don't really think many people know about this, but iodine actually may help reduce or stop kidney stones because iodine has it's an alkalizing mineral in the body, and a lot of conditions like kidney stones, arthritis, cancer, gout, all that stuff, they're all acidic. So it'll kind of help neutralize those. It can help neutralize those conditions. And a lot of people, 1/3 of people on Earth, including like first world nations, are iodine deficient. So he might want to get some iodine. And it also helps, like, you know, with people getting sick. That's also a reason why a lot of people get sick, is they don't have enough iodine. But yeah, I remember Jay, I think it's over 2 years ago, I had him on my show. And he was saying that, like, he had a lot of almond milk and he ate spinach and stuff. And I told him that he should, you know, not have that stuff. Otherwise he's going to end up getting like a kidney stone. This was before he got any. I didn't know that he was going to end up getting one that soon. But I had told him that he should stop that or he'll get some kidney stones. But yeah, I'd like to know what his diet is. So that way, you know, we can help him out. Maybe it's something that he's eating. I don't know if he's still having almond milk and like those fake nut milks. Those fake nut milks are really bad for you. The same thing happened to my mom. She was having those like fake nut milks, and she would eat a lot of nuts, and she would have a lot of spinach and stuff, and she ended up getting kidney stones from that, which my dad had told her that she can't have all that stuff or she'll get kidney stones, and she did. So those are pretty common culprits for kidney stones, and obviously soda doesn't help, but I think that he stopped having that.
Yeah. I think he's not having any soda or sweet stuff.
Yeah.
He's been pretty healthy. So,
Oh,
all right.
Also, you were talking about fiber, that the carnivore diet doesn't have fiber. Fiber actually is actually not as important as you think to gut health. The body can't digest it. Fiber only herbivores can digest fiber. It just breaks down into sugar. But a lot of people on the carnivore diet, it doesn't affect your gut health. You could, like, your stools and stuff are all like perfectly healthy without fiber. Actually, a lot of people, when they have a lot of fiber, they think that it cleans them out. But what actually happens is that when you have a lot of fiber, is that it blocks whatever it is that you ate from being digested. And so that's why it seems like, oh, I got cleaned out, because the poop's like really smelly, and like it seems like like you took a big one, so it's like, oh yeah, I got cleaned out, but it's actually not. It just means that you haven't fully digested your food, because there's so much fiber, it blocks it from the enzymes and the acid from breaking it down. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Merry Christmas, Zach. The next TFR is going to be after Christmas.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, man. You have a
Number
good
3.
night.
All right.
Life is worthwhile if you stay. You got to learn to hang in there. You've got to learn to stay from spring till fall. Many people plant in the spring and leave in the summer. They're gone. First hot day. I thought sure John had lasted a month. Where is he? I don't know. Somebody said boom, and he quit. Where is he? I don't know. But see, to win, you got to learn to stay. Just because you're behind in the first quarter, you can't leave. You got to learn to stay and hang in there. Guy builds a foundation. Then he walks off, wanders away, and builds another foundation. He never stays. He puts up the walls and puts on the roof. You got to learn to stay, hang in there.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your prediction from the city.
TFR. Frequency radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. It's the final 30 minutes. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Next up, Arkansas, 870, you're on.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. Man, I was just wondering if you saw they got a new movie coming out in 2024 called Civil War, and it's kind of like a modern Civil War. And it's funny because I hear you talk about 1909, and they say the war basically happens because 19 states, seceded. And also on it, I saw an article on Fox News talking about it. In that movie, like they show the president, he's cool with just dropping bombs on fucking American citizens. So do you think that's where they're telling we're heading?
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they start using drones to attack Americans in the future. It would just seem like the natural progression. And again, yes, we did cover that Civil War movie last week and the timing of it and the Andre Brower death and how it came on the back of the Obama movie about the blackout. It's all connected. So.
Oh yeah, I watched that movie. That was that Bob movie. That was pretty messed up, man. But okay, man, that's all I really had to say. I appreciate it, man. I'll let somebody else get on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good night.
Oh, you too, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. All righty, let's go out to what's up, Joey?
Yo, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
The the Division I college here in town, Binghamton, is Binghamton University. They have a basketball team, and they just started a new rivalry this year. And the rivalry they started is with a college called Lemoyne. And does the name Lemoyne ring a bell?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's named after a Jesuit, Simon Lemoyne. It's one of the few Jesuit schools in the nation. And in the article where they're telling the story about this new rivalry, it states that both schools are located in the I-81 corridor, and they're separated by 81 miles.
Perfect.
And what's funny about the 81 is that where Lemoyne is, it's in a town called DeWitt, which equals 81 in both ciphers, just like ritual. And they call it the Battle for the Interstate. And Battle for the Interstate equals 263, the 56th prime. They broke this news on December 1st. That's when the local news ran a story on this. And that day, December 1st, had 56 state numerology. So just how perfect that they break the news of this new rivalry that's name equals 263 on the 56 state numerology. And of course, Society of Jesus equals 56. And it's a Jesuit school. But get this, the game already happened. It was December 9th, like 12-9, which like 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. And the Jesuit order 201, Georgetown 129, the first Jesuit school in the United States. But get this, Simon Lemoyne is the founder of that school, and this game on 12-9 came 49 days after his birthday, and Binghamton in the most pure ciphers 49. And I made a post earlier, like this year over the summer. Just there's 1,049s in Binghamton history. Binghamton's birthday is April 9th. The first time Binghamton made the NCAA tournament, it was 49 days after their coach's birthday, and they played the Blue Devils, and Blue Devils equals 111. Like Binghamton's in the 607 area code, the 111th prime. But oh yeah, the game's final score. Get this. Hold on, the game's final score was 91-71. And of course, no, it was 91 to 79. 91-79. And of course, where those numbers come together is the Society of Jesus equals 91, whereas Society of Jesus equals 79. Both in the same cipher, so just a perfect score for the inaugural game of the new rivalry.
Yeah.
And if you add up, if you add up those scores, because 91 and 79 both have like a special property to them, because 91's the 13th triangular, and 79's the 22nd prime. So 22 for the 22nd prime plus 13 for the 13th triangular equals 35, like Catholic. So I don't think it's a coincidence they coded the Society of Jesus and then just Society of Jesus. I don't think it's a coincidence that if you, like I just did, it equals 35, like the 22nd prime, the 13th triangular, it sums to 35. But yeah, just Binghamton University is a public school, but you might as well just call them a Jesuit school now because they're in bed with the Jesuits clearly in this clearly Jesuit ritual.
Well, I'll just remind people that the word school equals Jesuit order. All right. Appreciate it, Joey. Have a good night.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
Yep. Peace.
All right. Yeah. Let's go out to 404.
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
Hey, Zach.
You're on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm on. Okay, I just was calling. Just you may already know this, but you know Valerie Jarrett, who is was Obama's kind of right-hand lady, who was born in Iran when he was in office.
Okay.
Okay, well, Valerie Jarrett, this is how just written everything is. Her daughter now is an anchor for CNN.
Perfect.
And also does a day on the NBC morning show. I'm not sure about that 100%, but she is a CNN anchor. Her name is Laura Jarrett, and it has been for years. And they just recently changed it because they say she's gotten married, but I think they just don't want her having the same name because Valerie Jarrett was a huge part of the Obama administration. So that's just how scripted everything is, that her kid is reading the news to us. But besides that, I also wanted to see if you had heard about this Arlington thing, the Confederate statues being removed.
I didn't know that.
Okay, that took place today in Arlington, Virginia. And when I heard it on the news, I thought Arlington, Virginia, I don't know if you had heard of that house explosion that was there.
Was that the
There
one
was
that
a
happened
guy,
earlier
his
this year?
name
The football player?
No, it happened December 4th, and it was an Asian guy who did it. His name was James Yu. But apparently there's all this stuff about it. I don't even know what happened, but the house blew up, basically. And then it made me think today they're removing statues in that town. So I looked it up, and it was actually 16 days prior that this other home exploded in Arlington. And Arlington is also home of the Virginia Cemetery, Arlington National Cemetery. And that's where JFK is buried, I guess.
Sure.
Him, and there's one other president buried there as well. You may know. I don't. But yeah, so those were just two things I just wanted to point out that I found quite interesting today.
Well, I appreciate the heads up. I'll keep an eye on that. We're coming up on Albert Pike's birthday anniversary, famous Confederate and Mason. So thank you.
Interesting. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Shout out to 13 Serpents in the chat, Mr. Generous. Appreciate it. Let's go out to the 323. 323, you're on. Three, 2, 3.
Hello, Zach.
Yeah, you're on.
Hello, I just wanted to talk about some things that happened in 2021 for the Saturnalia during the Draco the Ruler. incident at the Once Upon a Time in LA.
Okay.
So there was this other, there's a street brand from LA called Born and Raised.
Okay.
And someone in their camp named Jake Diamond Farman died on that same day. And his full name equals 73. And Jesuit order equals 72, and sacrifice equals 73, ritual sacrifice equals 73, Catholic equals 73. And I kind of just wanted to call in for you to like check, to like almost like double check my work, because I'm kind of like close with some of these people that are within the group.
Okay.
So the brand Born and Raised equals 57 and 69. And Scottish Rite equals 57, Jesuit Order equals 69, New World Order equals 69, Catholic Church equals 69, Illuminati equals 69, and one of the main members in that group equals 72, and he just died recently, and his name is Chris Printup. If you could look up like Born and Raised founder died. He died in let me double check the date. He died this year on the 28th in June. And he died at the age of 42 years old.
Familiar pattern, okay.
Yeah, so all of this stuff, you know, like I'm born within the area, you know, like I kind of know these people, and it's kind of like making me just like really like think of all this number stuff and just be like, is this like really happening? And like I've been following you for like a few years, and like this has just been making me just like think a lot. So like the first guy that died from the group, his name was Jake Diamond Farman, and his full name equals 73, and then sacrifice equals 73, ritual sacrifice equals 73, Catholic equals 73. And the news broke out on the 17th, and the full date was 12/16/2021 equals 69, which is like Illuminati, and like the numerology date broke out on the 17th. So it had a 17 equals kill, and he died in a car accident, and he died on like he hit like a median, which is like the middle of like an intersection. And median equals 28, and his name equals 28, and like 107 is his 28th prime number, and 107 equals sacrifice. And he died in Westchester, California, and Westchester equals 46, sacrifice equals 46, execution equals 46, Catholic equals 46, and then in Genesis, 46 begins with a sacrifice. So it's like all these numbers that add up is just like really having me think of like, is this like really happening? You know, like this brand named Born and Raised, they're just a small brand from Venice, California. And Venice has a highway that equals 187. So like, it's just like really crazy to me for like all this stuff to happen within like my hometown.
Sure. Yeah, it always feels when it's close to home, it feels different. Just so you know, Catholic doesn't equal 73, but there's 73 books in the Catholic Bible, and the 73rd book is Revelation, where there's judgment. So that's where it does fit in with death and the sacrifice code. But keep up the great work.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you have a good night. All right, let's go out to 216 Cleveland.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, man, tonight, man, I caught the show kind of late. But one thing I noticed when I call into the show, man, you got a lot of people bringing up a lot of good, interesting points, man, from different areas, man. Like the lady who just came on was talking about the house that blew up in Virginia. I saw that like at the beginning of the month, and I was thinking y'all didn't really do a decode on it, but I knew it had something to do with something. You know, it was just like this guy, house exploded, and
are you in a windstorm? Hold on. Are you in a windstorm right now?
No, I'm walking outside though. Hold on, let me take you off. How's that? Can you hear me better now?
That's a lot better. There we go.
But yeah, you know, the house explosion and the house connected to the Confederate, well, possibly connected to the Confederate statues being taken down. So I saw that in the news the day before yesterday too. But the main thing I wanted to call in about, well, I won't necessarily say the main thing, but I've been following like the sports things, right? You know, I'm on the Patreon. I've been seeing the picture you put out, and I'm assuming that you believe that the Lakers are about to take it this year. Because check this out, Zach. LeBron James just turned 39. If you spell out the word 39, it equals 56. Like he could potentially become 5 and 6 at the age 39 in the NBA championship this year. What do you think about that?
Again, I see a lot of parallels how they could pay tribute to Kobe if they did it. So we'll see.
You know, if it were to fall out that way, I would think that the team that will come out of the East would have to have a 39 connection. I don't know what team that is. It was the gematria of the team sums to 39. But I do know, you know, you always mention New York and their 39 connection. So quite possibly, you know, a team out of New York, maybe the Knicks, you know, they got that 39 connection. But switching to the Super Bowl, I heard you mention earlier in the stream how the Baltimore Ravens have a 95 connection. But you know, if you spell out, this is my bias, if you spell out the Cleveland Browns, that also sums to 95 in reverse reduction. Now I'm thinking, okay, you know, next year on the 8th, April 8th, you know, there's going to be a total solar eclipse, and Cleveland, Ohio is in what they call the path of totality. So in other words, you know, we're going to have the best seat in the house to see this total solar eclipse when it happens on April 8th. So, I mean, I know I've heard you mention that, you know, you think, you know, Joe Flacco coming back at age 38 is like a nod to the Baltimore Ravens, who used to be the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
What do you think about that, though?
It is a nod to them. Ravens equals 38. We know it's a number connected to death. It's probably also a nod to Jim Brown's death. Remember, Jim Brown equals 104, like it's the 104th NFL season. So
I noticed over this last week when it came to the football, the games, that the Detroit Lions were the first to advance to 10-4, and they scored 42 points. And Detroit, Michigan is on the 42nd parallel.
Right.
And the Super Bowl is on the 42nd day of the year, you know? So, you know, it's kind of all over the place, man. But that's pretty much all I have for tonight, man. I want to hold up the line, man. I just wanted to throw those couple ideas out there.
all right. Hey, good to hear your voice, man.
Absolutely, Zach. I'm always watching, man. I'm always watching, man.
All right. Glad you're out there. You have a good night, friend.
All right, you too.
All right, take care. Let's go out to 951, California. California, 951. Hello. All right, they must just be listening. Let's go out to our friend in New York then, 347. How you doing? Yeah, thanks for calling in again. I said thanks for calling in again. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing all right, thank you.
I mean, that's from the good work, man. I'm always listening, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Always tuning in.
Yeah. Have you talked to Rambo lately?
No, I supposed to give him a call. You know, I said I'll give him a call over the weekend.
Tell Rambo we need him back. We need Rambo back.
Yeah. I'll give him a call over the weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And it was funny, what happened, I didn't see the Patreon no more, and I'm getting there. And I used to see them take it out on my account, but I didn't see none coming out.
Well, a lot of people have been unsubscribed, so maybe you got unsubscribed as well, but that's okay. Thank you for supporting in the past.
So why is it cut off?
Say it again.
Why cut off? I didn't stop it.
I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to sabotage me, but a lot of people have told me the same thing, that they got cut off and they haven't been able to resubscribe. So hard to say. It's just like people are telling me that they try to send super chats and it doesn't let them send it. So I don't know. I think they're just trying to shut me down.
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah. But hey, that's okay.
You keep on the good work, man.
We'll do the good work regardless. So appreciate it.
Yeah, I might have it sent it a different way. You know, instead of sending it to Patreon, I might have it sent it by the Zelle. You have Zelle?
I do have Zelle. I got to look up what my name is on Zelle. I forget, but I do have that somewhere. So.
Let me know.
All
and
right.
you find out.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I talk to you, man. Be safe.
All right, friend. Always good to hear your voice. You have a good night.
Yeah. You too.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. 708. Nice timing. What's up, 708?
What's up, Zach? It's Eric, man. How you doing?
Did you say it's Eric?
Yeah, it's Eric. How you
Oh,
doing,
hey, man. Good to hear your voice. Yeah. What's up, Eric?
Yeah, it's been a while. Hey, man, just wanted to say thank you. Hit Villanova tonight for about $630. They were a 10-point underdog. They beat Creighton to make Creighton 9-3.
Ah, Saturnalia. Watch those Jesuit schools and the Saturn rituals. There you go. He's used to the knowledge.
Yesterday, I hit for about 120. Providence beat Marquette yesterday to send Marquette to 9-3.
Jesuit school. This was the advice. Watch those Jesuit schools get 9-3. Saturnalia ends this Saturday. Last day of Saturnalia's Saturday. I'm thinking it might be the best day of Saturnalia yet. So we'll see.
There's one more coming up tomorrow. Charleston plays St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's is 9-2. They're a 1.5-point favorite. I don't gotta, you don't gotta be a genius to figure it out. Take Charleston and send St. Joseph's to 9-3. So yeah, just huge. Just wanted to say thanks, and that Saturnalia just doesn't have to be just on the Saturday. It's during this whole week. There's been a couple others too. There was at least one other one early on that they went to 9-3 also. So that thing's just been banging all week.
Except for somehow the Dons missed. The Dons missed. They lost their game by a point and didn't do the 9-3. They went 8-4, which was like, but that's okay. Yeah, it has been hitting. So
yeah,
well done, Eric.
Yeah. But man, thanks a lot. So just wanted to hit you up with that. I just got in, so I'm gonna rewind and listen to the stream. I'm sure you killed it tonight, and look forward to seeing you back out there whenever you're gonna be somewhere.
Yeah, and shout out to this man. He drove all the way out from Arizona and pounded pavement with us in California for several days. It was great to be there with you, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to doing it again, man.
Yeah, me too. All right, you have a good night, friend.
All right, Zach, I'll talk to you, bro.
Yeah.
You too, man. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. It doesn't look like my NBA picks did that great, though, tonight. But, again, that's what we teach y'all, to bet low and win high. Use the knowledge, follow the patterns every year. These Jesuit schools. I mean, just think about it, you guys. The first Jesuit pope, his birthday, Saturnalia, Saturn with the strong 93 connection. You just watch these Jesuit schools in basketball, year after year, becoming 9-3 in the time of Saturnalia. So there'll always be a school or two that misses, and that's why you can always play it safe and take them with the points. Like the Dons over the weekend lost their game by a point and just barely missed the 9-3 thing, but they were dogs, so if you took them with the points, you did all right. But Yeah, 35 Thursday will be in effect in the NFL tomorrow. Unfortunately, though, it can play either way. Either the I got to double check. I think it's like the Rams can pick up their 35th regular season loss versus the Saints, or they can stay on 35 all-time losses versus the Saints if you include the postseason. So I'll have to do a little more thinking on that one. But that is the show, you guys. TFR is over. And we'll hang on here for the after hours in case we got a DK Stonewood sighting. And yeah, let me also say thank you to everyone who did a super chat tonight. Thank you again, Paula. Thank you, DTW Tubbs. Thank you, Fabian Livingston. Thank you, Amy at Crack Their Code. Thank you again, Logan Thomas. Thank you, Oscar Garcia. Thank you again, Open Up. And Oscar Garcia again, and 13 Serpents again. And then there were some people that sent some Cash Apps as well. I'll remind people, Cash App really is the better way to donate if you can possibly do that, just because there's no fee out of it. And yeah, I don't think Cash App reports to the IRS either. Shout out to John Mendoza on Cash App. Shout out to King Henry down in Vegas. Thank you, Brian Williams, and thank you again, Eloy Garcia. So appreciate the generosity. And looks like altogether we raised about $50 tonight. Not bad, not bad. That's a bag of groceries. And Eloy Garcia just had to double up and send another $5. So we're up to about $55 for the night. I appreciate it. I don't know what that means. Can I donate to Cash App on a bank machine? I don't. What do you mean a bank machine? Do you mean like an ATM? No, don't do that because then you have fees. Don't even worry about it. But oh, shout out to Eric who just called in, just sent a tip for his win tonight. Thank you, Eric. That was nice of you. You didn't have to do that, man. Save it for the next road trip out to LA. Yeah, I'm gonna, you guys. I gotta work a miracle over here on my end with Sweet Lady. She's not keen on the traveling thing right now, but it has to be done. I gotta figure out how to get her on board for the LA Kobe Bryant statue trip, and then the jet over to Vegas for the Super Bowl. I want to be there when they turn the power out. So, but yeah, any way to donate is fine. It's the thought that counts at the end of the day, and the contribution. And we do have a DK Stonewood sighting. DK was out there in LA in April. What's up, DK?
Hey, you're gonna be the only one out there in Vegas with the solar generator outside, with everything hooked up as everybody's blind coming out. Into the
I actually got one of those. I actually do have one of those solar generators with some panels. I should bring that just in case.
Oh, for sure. That would be hilarious if it went out and you're already out there. So like, see, I told you.
I came prepared. Yeah.
What was the coded thing on the John Morant thing? I kind of missed. I heard you talking about it, but I didn't catch what you were saying. What was the?
So he wears the number 12. He returned yesterday, the day leaving 12 days left in the year, and he beat the Pelicans to give them their 12th loss. And then the other part of it is Grizzlies, the team he plays for, in Gematria equals 131. He came back exactly 131 days after his birthday. And then he was suspended for 25 games, which is funny because, like, for the last 10 years, we've called the Grizzlies the 25 team because they've had about a bazillion 25 rituals. So it just shows how corny the whole thing is. But he was suspended for posting a gun on social media. And
so am I right that was the second suspension? They first suspended him for 8 games, and then another one he posted again with the gun, and then it was 25 to add up to 33.
Oh, I guess if you count the 8-game suspension from last year, that is a total of 33 games. That's true. But yeah, Gunn also has the Gematria 12 to go with the ritual for yesterday. So
what do you think they showed that? Like, what do you think they're pushing that overall for? Just like the anti-gun agenda?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, me too. I thought that was it overall, and then I thought I was like, wait a minute, this guy got suspended for 8 games and now 25 for the same thing, both for guns. And then that's 33. I'm like, watch him score 33 points on this game when he comes back, but it was 34 actually scored. I actually watched the last like 2 minutes of that game at my dad's house. I was like, watch this guy right now, see what he's gonna do. I guarantee he's gonna end up with 33. And then, you know, my dad's like, what the hell does that have to do with it? How can they get him to, you know? I'm like, just watch. Let's see what's gonna happen. And then he had like 27 points in the second half or something. Most like 17 in the last quarter. I'm like, just watch him get 33.
I think he scored 34 yesterday, which is the big number in Memphis. Memphis has the gematria of 34 in the same cipher. The gun is 12. So
it's funny. That's the guy that I think, you know, the way my hoop game was very similar to the way he plays. Kind of like real shifty and just like some weird acrobatic shots. Everybody was always wondering like how I'm not super tall or anything, but I can just make finger rolls both hands from like, you know, weird angles, not even using the board, you know, over big guys. Even the big guys are shocked. Like they're like, I could have blocked that if I actually went for it, but I didn't think you were going to do that, you know? So I always kind of pay attention to that guy a little bit. I'm like, this guy's game is very similar. Both me and my brother kind of both had a similar game to that guy. Maybe we could shoot a little bit better. I'm not sure. He seems to be a decent shooter too. You know, one of the callers before, he was talking about the treaty. What was that, 1783? And those are very important things because I mean, I've talked about this stuff before about the whole Revolutionary War thing being, you know, fake history, and it was really kind of a cover to, you know, genocide the Indians, and you know, but people should really, you know, no channels really cover that. I know we got like Mark Passio, you know, shill that's pushing that the fact that the Revolutionary War is all legit and those guys are all legit and all that, but you know, I think that's something that's definitely something we should be mentioning over and over again. You know what? Let me talk about like, because I saw you did the video on the guy that's he's having kidney problems.
Uh-huh.
How old is he?
21.
Oh, he's that young? And what ethnicity?
He's black.
Black, okay. Well, in general, I would just say that, you know, blacks are the most out of their element, you know, out of any of the like, you know, quote unquote races. They're the most out of their element. They're not getting enough sun. And so they're always going to be like low in vitamin D and stuff, but they're really low in vitamin B. That's what is like usually kind of known for blacks. They're super low in vitamin D because they're too far out of their element here. And, you know, they're living the same type of lives we are, mostly indoors. And, you know, they need more sun than we do. So one thing that I tell people is look into benfotiamine. That's really a helpful thing for black people. But if he's having like kidney issues, especially at that young of an age, it's not actually always the kidney that's at fault, because, you know, the kidney is just, you know, one of our filtration devices as well as the liver. So like if your liver gets backed up, then your kidney is going to be fucked up, you know, and vice versa as well. That's kind of
He's aware. He's aware because his intestines aren't doing their job, and then so it's putting more work on the kidneys. And he's learned some stuff, and something that he learned is he was not breastfed, and apparently, if you're not breastfed, it sets up the possibility that you'll be more prone to having stomach issues and kidney issues and everything he's experiencing right now. So.
Plus, with his age, that means he probably got the full vaccine schedule, and it's known that people, you know, the more vaccines you get, it causes like leaky gut, like little like tiny holes in your gut. So then that causes all kinds of other issues as well. So there's a product for that. It used to be called Restore, but they changed the name, I think, to Ion, and you can find it on Avatar. I know you can find it on avatarproducts.com, but there's probably other places that carry it, but he should look into that. He should look into that supplement. It's supposed to fix the little holes you have in your intestines so you can uptake nutrients. That's kind of one of the things they find on one of the main things they find on autistic kids, they all have like leaky gut. Not saying he's autistic or anything, but just one of the problems that's associated with it. And a lot of the way our food is now, a lot of people have like fatty livers, so then your liver's not working correctly, and then it ends up basically going down the line to the kidneys. So that's another thing to look into. The best guy that I found on that is Dr. Morse, like Morse code. Just look up like Dr. Morse kidney support or liver support, and he has these like juices and stuff. But like I would say he's probably at the top of the food chain on knowledge as far as that stuff's concerned. So look into the stuff that Dr. Morse has for it and what he's saying about it. And then, like people were saying, look into Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg is not a doctor; he's a DC. DC is Doctor of Chiropractic, so he's a chiropractor, which is probably better than being a doctor. I mean, probably less brainwashed, but his stuff is kind of a mixed bag. Some of it is decent, some of it is not so decent. I mean, he's got like a big scandal going in the Church of Scientology, him and his son. So there's. Take that guy's stuff with a grain of salt. But in general, I would recommend for him to just like go on a fast if he can for a week. I mean, not like necessarily a dry fast, but go on like a coconut water fast, or find something that sounds good to him like intuitionally, and then just go on like a week-long fast and just get everything out of his stomach to reset his gut biome, because sometimes you can't necessarily fix it because you got the bad stuff still in there lingering. And someone was saying like castor oil is great. You put it on your face and your hair and stuff. Castor oil, that's something that I use regularly. Not necessarily in my diet because it will make you, shit. But if he's having, if he's having all those issues with his gut, I recommend starting from scratch. Get all the crap out of there, pun intended. And another one maybe he could look into, which would be like more aggressive, is the turpentine cleanse. That one, like, that's what the ancients were doing to get rid of demons. They kind of knew, the Egyptians knew that they were being attacked through the food supply. So they would fast and they would go on turpentine cleanses. And turpentine is basically refined from pine tar, and so it's another thing having to do with the pineal gland. This one of the reasons they have the pine cone. It's not just because of our pineal gland. It's because the sap from that pine tree is actually like one of the saviors for our consciousness. It's very little known, but if you want to look into turpentine cleanses, look into the Dr. Jennifer Daniels protocol. She's really good. I know friends who have gone on this stuff that have literally shit out demons, meaning like snakes that are made out of like bile and shit. It's they show it to you in the photos of it in the toilet, and you're like, oh my god, that thing's actually alive. That is something. That's not just like a bunch of condensed excrement. That's a living creature. So yeah, look into that. I don't have any of my notes with me, so I don't know what the heck else you were talking about in the past week. I can't even remember any of it, so I'll just, I guess, get to it next time.
All right, DK.
What the kid, the big Jewish kid from Florida was talking about fiber. There's two different kinds of fiber, the insoluble and soluble fiber, and they both do kind of the opposite thing. One is helps break down stuff, and one is like almost like like the thing a plumber puts in the pipes, that foam that fills up and then kind of scrapes the outside of the pipes and makes sure it gets everything and pushes it down. That's what insoluble fiber does. So you need a combination of both, and doing that correctly. You don't want to just eat like bunch of insoluble fiber. It'll, it requires a lot of water and it'll plug you up. You want to do like, the correct combination of those two.
Sure.
Anyway, that's about it for me.
All right,
And
appreciate
shout out to Eric and Vidal Carmenita. See you guys soon.
Indeed. Yeah, DK was out there too. Thanks, DK. You have a good night, man.
Okay, Zach. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, see you. All right, True Seekers. Good job tonight. Good calls, good information. And again, thank you everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you everyone who leaves the comments. And thank you especially to the super chatters. Appreciate the generosity. And yeah, Jay, if you're out there, get better. Jay, try out that tea that everybody recommended. Again, I know you didn't meet Chris in New York, but he sent me a whole bunch of text messages fully endorsing that tea. He said, yeah, that totally helped him with his kidney stone problem in the past. And since Jay communicated that he hadn't tried that tea yet, you know, Jay's frustrated because he tried a bunch of things and it didn't work out. But Jay, this could be the solution. And from looking at online, it's not like it's expensive. It's not expensive, so it's not going to break the bank. So. All right, have a good night, all. Shout out to Daria. Daria, you have a good night. I see the trolls are picking on Daria. Hey, trolls, why are you picking on ladies? I mean, come on, man. Just stop it. How can you pick on Daria? God, it's just like the trolls just going to new lows. Oh, Daria, don't let them bother you one bit. And yeah, it's sad. These people are sad. But hey, let's not close on that note. Again, have a good night, all, and just try to ignore the trolls if they do target you next. You just never know who they're going to go after. But we'll leave it there for now. And until next time, everybody.